Here we are again. Feels like 100 years since we ended yesterday's radio show with the news that the Tennessee Titans were firing another head coach. Brian Callahan makes it to week 6, but no further. And the wheels on the bus go round and round and round. We got you for 3 hours today. 615-737-1045. Mike McCoy is going to speak at 1 o'clock. Boys, I may dip out for the polls after we speak to Mike Silver today so I can catch the interim head coach's press conference. And I'm about press conferenced out because they waited until 7:30 p.m. to finally get in front of the media and answer questions about why, yet again, we're talking about somebody else getting fired. Good morning.
Good morning. Interesting times, to say the least.
Yes. I feel on it. I feel bad in two different ways for Cam Ward because this is an unfortunate circumstance for him all around. Before we talk about all the ways that they have done wrong here, let's talk about the people who are going to be the most aggrieved party here. I feel worst for Cam Ward. I feel equally as bad. Who looked more like a hostage last night than Mike Borgonzi? My God. I don't even know what they shouldn't. I get why he was out there because technically he's a part of the decision too, but I really didn't need Mike Borgonzi at that press conference. I needed ownership to answer questions, and ownership was not there. Apparently she was at home. And Chad Brinker has been empowered to speak on her behalf, so if they'd have just put Brinker out there in front of us, that'd have been fine. And Brinker, kind of nudging Mike Borgonzi on a couple of these, being like, Mike, you want to answer that one? You want to answer that one so I can take a drink of water and stop sweating for 5 minutes? It's something. It is something indeed, and Mike Vrabel's coming to town, and he's answering questions about what it's going to be like to face the Tennessee Titans, and he's given the right responses, but this is going to be, can there be a more toxic week this season than this week?
Yeah, it's interesting because you make this move, you avoid firing Brian Callahan or you avoid Mike Vrabel beating the man that you hired to replace Mike Vrabel, I guess, I would imagine was part of the intention in this. Yeah. And I don't even think we need to put out the disclaimer that the results were horrendous. Brian Callahan's time was, he was on a short leash. It was borrowed time, if anything, lame duck coach, all of these things. 4-19, you needed to be fired. Like the one thing that Chad Brinker said that was correct was that there was no growth from the time they hired Brian Callahan to now, especially offensively.
No.
So I don't even think we need to put out that disclaimer that this isn't about the decision of letting go Brian Callahan.
No.
But it is interesting the timing of it, right? How much intention there was to do it before the Patriots game. But just the spin that it's put now on the Patriots game with this discussion all happening in the lead up to the Patriots game. Like in that way, it feels like maybe it's backfired a little bit, right? Maybe do it after. Do you think they would have done it after if they had lost in Arizona?
That's a good question. Probably because they looked lifeless.
Like maybe that would have been, I don't know if we're talking about from like a PR standpoint, like let all the craziness happen and then the dust has settled and there's a game under Mike McCoy's belt and then we're going into the Patriots game.
I genuinely don't know. It doesn't feel like they know because you know what? Did you guys see that Adam Schefter clip I sent you yesterday?
Yeah, Schefter on McAfee said he didn't anticipate any moves.
5 minutes before Callahan got fired.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So the Titans didn't anticipate. I mean, the vast majority of the Titans organization did not anticipate Brian Callahan getting fired today, which leads us no other choice but to ask, when did Amy change her mind? And this was the whole thing, Lucas, the whole thing that they preached to us this offseason. Patience over panic. Amy's bought in on the plan. This, that, and the other. She's nowhere to be found. Chad Brinker's putting out statements. She's not even doing her own statements anymore, right? It's Chad Brinker's statements. It's not Amy Adams Strunk's statement. So all of a sudden, we're asking questions. Hey, are you sure? Like, is she going to be bought in the whole way through? Or do you have assurances here that you're going to get as much time to play this thing out as humanly possible? And then all of a sudden, the sky falls, the axe drops, the next head rolls. This time it's Brian Callahan. And we do the Amy Adams Strunk thing all over again. Like, this is the thing that is maddening. Brian Callahan should have been fired. Brian Callahan should have been fired last year. Brian Callahan should have been fired after Denver. He should have been fired after Indy. He should have been fired after Houston. Like, this is, the evidence was there. The case was there to fire the coach. The cleanest thing to do would have been to clear Carthon and Callahan, get it right with Borgonzi, give Cam Ward a chance, and if you're going to go through growing pains, then go through them with your coach, your hire, all these different things. But they just don't do anything right. They don't ever do anything right, it seems. And that's not like a personal attack. This is factually accurate. People are pointing and laughing at them again, because the only way people pay attention to the Tennessee Titans is when they are wrought with dysfunctional behavior. But they spent the whole offseason telling us this time was going to be different. Do you have the Burke Nihill clip? We'll get the Burke Nihill clip here in just a second. But, I mean, also, there's a couple of different things here, because we'll get to the Brinker Borgonzi. It was really a Brinker press conference. God bless Mike Borgonzi for being out there at all. Felt completely unnecessary. I'm sure he didn't sleep terribly well last night. But we'll get to all of that. We'll talk about Amy, just generally. Is this job attractive now is the other thing. Mike McCoy is going to speak at 1 o'clock today. Mike Silver just had a huge piece on Cam Ward. He was here at the facility last week. I thought he was going to have to scrap the whole piece based on the amount of quotes that he was getting from a variety of different people. But the piece is about Cam, and Cam is what still matters the most here today. So they fire Brian Callahan again. So now 2 head coaches, 2 general managers since December of 2022. And this quote is going to live for all time, because this is why you don't trust them to get it right again.
It feels really, really good in the Tennessee Titans practice facility these days. There is definitely a freshness, but Brian Callahan, you can do all your research on somebody, you can get references, you can do hours and hours of interviews with someone, but you don't really know completely what you have until someone gets in the building. I mean, I think that's true of a marketing position, it's true of an accounting position, but when you're talking about a head coach, it's really, really important that you have a really good recruiting process and you make a wise decision. Since Brian got here, we thought that we got this right. We crushed it. Brian Callahan is the real deal. He sets a tone as a leader. He's as smart as they come. He is, low ego, high impact. And so I think the future is bright. I think the present's bright too, but I think the future is especially bright given this.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, we've heard that clip a million times. I don't know what it adds to our conversation today.
It adds that I don't trust them to get it right.
Okay, sure. But I don't think we have to play that clip to have that. It's like, that is the
You don't think the fans don't deserve to hear that clip?
No, they'll believe me. They've heard it. They've listened to this show. The president of the team doing PR on the coach that they just hired, to me, has nothing to do with our conversation today. We know they overstepped in the way that they talked about the team going into 2024.
Has Burke Nihill spoken on football since?
Nothing not stadium related to my knowledge.
Nothing not stadium related, right? Because you don't need that out there. That's not necessary.
Oh, sure, but they did a lot of things that weren't necessary in front of microphones going into that season,
sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Checked all the boxes, all these things. So
because he's the coach he's the earliest fired coach in the franchise's history.
Yes.
In the Titans era, certainly.
Yes. That's fine. But I'm saying, all right, how do we talk about where this franchise is right now and where they're going from here? Because they haven't done anything to earn the trust that, they are asking fans to place in them, right? Like, we understand that. I'm saying, let's keep it moving. I feel like we keep going backwards playing that clip. That clip means nothing to me at this point. That's the president of the team doing PR and a coach that he hired that he thought was going to do a good job that didn't, so he got fired.
Are we going backwards, or are they?
Yeah.
I would love to move forward. I know some Titans fans don't believe that. Like, I think people genuinely think that I enjoy these kind of things. And like, there's adrenaline when you have a change up that big. But I'm tired of it. This is less than 4 years where we've done 4 of these. It's just, get it right. Get it right. And like Lucas, compounded with the idea, you saw the season ticket stuff that was going around yesterday, right? Where people who are responsible with stadium sales.
Yeah, reaching out to fans saying, hey, Brian Callahan got fired.
No, saying, hey, you told us you'd buy tickets if Brian Callahan got fired. Brian Callahan got fired. Can we lock you in for 2027?
Yeah, they were acting fast. Yeah.
Brother. How am I supposed to? And I know that's not football, and football matters, and you win games, and the salespeople are just doing sales things. So, like, whatever. But it's an optical it's just unserious every time with this group. I don't know how they move forward. I would love for them to move forward. Mike McCoy going to be the person, the fired Broncos offensive coordinator, the fired Cardinals offensive coordinator, the fired Chargers head coach. Like, that's going to be the guy that's going to yank this thing forward. All of a sudden, they're going to get that interim coach bump against Mike Vrabel. Like, tell me how they move forward. I'm willing to entertain that conversation today if you have a path for me to take.
Oh, I've got no path for them to move forward.
I'm asking.
Right. Look, let's talk about them firing Brian Callahan. Let's talk about the state of disarray that they are in. I'm saying I want to avoid beating dead horses as much as possible. And I think we've played that clip enough times of the president
horse is the franchise
doing PR on the new coach that they had just hired. Obviously, it didn't work out. They scored the lowest amount of points through 6 games since, 1985?
13.8.
I saw Teron Davenport put out there through ESPN research. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy just how, I remember us saying when they hired Brian Callahan, we didn't know if Brian Callahan was going to be a better head coach than Mike Vrabel, but we were pretty sure he was going to be a better quarterback developer than Mike Vrabel. And maybe he is, but the results did not show that whatsoever. It is crazy just how bad, how much worse the offense got in the Brian Callahan era.
615-737-1045. What we're not going to do today, specifically today, is who can they hire? Like, I don't want to do the Lane Kiffin, John Gruden. I'm sure the morning show got plenty of calls. Like, I don't, that's not important yet. We have an entire offseason for that. Today is about why they got it wrong, who got it wrong. Also, to your point, Lucas, about how they move forward, how would they define growth for the offense? Because that's their primary reason for firing Brian Callahan. There was no growth from this team year over year. Their offense sputtered. It looked worse. They got worse. Cam Ward is getting worse. So you will hear from Chad Brinker about how they define growth. We will take your phone calls, and we will do this for the next 2 hours and 45 minutes. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. So they are dysfunctional, but that doesn't mean that they can't get better. I know you're tired of hearing me say that. But at some point, to Lucas's point, there has to be a path forward. 615-737-1045 is the number. We will hear from Chad Brinker, who is apparently the decision maker. Actually, let's start, Robert, if we could, because I wanted to ask them last night. Brinker gave an opening statement, and he was clearly talking to the fans through us, right, Lucas? Like he's there to address the fans because the fans are pissed. Understandably. It's somewhere between anger and apathy, and probably leaning more towards apathy now that the anger of firing the coach. They got their bloodlust, right? Now they're like, all right, draft season, who are we hiring next? So Chad Brinker gives an opening statement, and Mike Borgonzi says a few words. I wonder how many actual words Mike Borgonzi said yesterday, if we had to count them. Do we think over, under 50?
I don't know. He didn't look thrilled. That's for sure.
No, and listen, nobody looks thrilled. Like, because what Brinker, the one thing that I buy off on is what Brinker was saying is nobody wanted to fire Brian Callahan. He's a good person, but an ineffective football coach, and you can't have that when you got Cam Ward.
Like, I believe that they went into the season with the intention of going the entire season with Brian Callahan as the head coach. And maybe, let's say, if they had gone, if they had won 5 games, season's not over, but you get what I'm saying, and still made that decision at the end of the year. But at some point, I guess your hand gets forced, right? Like, with how bad it was through 6 games, and I've been saying whether you fire him now or you fire him 5 weeks from now, I don't think it makes a huge difference, and I don't think it does. But at some point, patience gets tested. And I know patience has been thin for the last few years around here. So, yeah, when you start 1-5, and that one is because the Arizona Cardinals had a monumental collapse, and you have a historically bad offense for the guy that's supposed to bring good offense with a new quarterback, then at some point, the dam has to break. So maybe it shouldn't be too shocking that this happened, even if it felt like everybody, the Adam Schefters of the world, everybody was blindsided by this the moment the statement came out.
Everybody got yesterday because Amy made a decision that nobody was expecting her, or the time. We were all expecting them to make a coaching change. The timing, nobody seemed to have. After this Raiders loss, could have said Houston made sense. If they lost to Arizona looking that way, would have made sense. I mean, hell, after the snafus against the Colts and the Broncos, as we've talked about many, many times, it would have made sense. But it just seemed random. It was random. That's why it took so long for everybody to get into place to find Mike McCoy, to make him the interim. We don't know if Mike McCoy was their first option. Mike McCoy will speak today. I suppose we'll ask him today if anybody was asked before Mike McCoy. I don't know if he'll tell us. I've watched some of his press conferences. Don't think we're going to learn a lot from Mike McCoy as the interim Titans head coach, but whatever. So the Amy of it all is something that we will talk about at 11 o'clock, but I wanted to ask, after Brinker's introductory statement, did they recommend the decision, Brinker and Borgonzi, because that's who met with Amy yesterday, did they recommend that Brian Callahan be fired, or did Amy Adams Strunk come to them and say Brian Callahan needs to be fired?
Was this Amy's decision, or did you guys make a recommendation as far as the change that you thought should be made?
There was a conversation with, obviously Amy's involved in every conversation that we have. So we had that conversation with Amy this morning. We made that decision collectively.
Okay, so nothing.
Maybe we should have seen this coming, right? Because we were so hung up on, okay, if he gets embarrassed by Mike Vrabel at Nissan Stadium, he's going to get fired. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should have been more wary of the Titans trying to get out in front of their handpicked head coach replacement for Mike Vrabel getting embarrassed by Mike Vrabel, right?
But doesn't that...
Like, let him embarrass the interim coach, not the guy that we picked to replace him.
Wouldn't it be funny if the Titans won? Like, that's the funniest outcome of all of this, right? Like, the Titans end up winning.
It'd be great.
Like Drake May has, like, his worst game of the season. And the Titans...
they just go tempo, like RPO for 4 quarters, and Cam Ward throws for 300 yards.
Completely different offense, career high. Cam doesn't look like that at any point this season, but he'll do it against the Patriots. Like, that's the funniest outcome of all of this, right?
But we were so hung up on, okay, is it going to happen after Houston, or is it going to happen after New England, or is it just going to happen at the end of the season? And we didn't give enough thought to the Titans being intentional about getting away from the sort of mini tradition that's been set in recent years of making those calls after embarrassing losses that have direct ties to something you've done, whether it's A.J. Brown or Mike Vrabel or what have you.
You think they staved her off after Houston? Like, Amy, come on, just a few more. And then
Right, like this is the thing everybody expects us to do.
Okay, so say that they did want to get ahead of it. Say she specifically looked at the Titans in Vegas and said, if I'm going to lose to Mike Vrabel, I'm not going to lose with that, right? Let's figure something else out. I may go down, but I'm going to go down swinging in a different way.
We fired our coach because he did a bad job, not because he lost to you.
Yes, but
which would have been the case no matter what after the Patriots game. But you know what I mean.
So doesn't that though? Because I think it kind of backfires though, right? Because now they're letting it, at least optically, it looks like Vrabel is still controlling the results.
Right.
Before the result is actually happening.
Yeah.
Making them look like they fear what we all are assuming is going to happen on Sunday before it actually happens, though. Like, that's a different kind of proactive. Like, we talk about being proactive versus reactive and the benefits, cost benefit of that. Like, they look reactive to Mike Vrabel before Mike Vrabel gets to Nashville.
Yeah, they look like
proactive.
They're being proactive in relation to Mike Vrabel. That's how it comes off. There's no question about it. Yeah, no question about it.
615-737-1045. You're going to hear from Chad Brinker on how they define growth. Because, again, the decision to fire Brian Callahan is correct. Nobody is disputing that. The 3.5 years of Titans football and everybody associated with it is the part that's the most unserious, not the firing of Brian Callahan. I think people misunderstood that. I saw some conversation on social media today, confused as to why the press conference felt, and, those things aren't overwhelmingly hostile. I didn't feel like the press conference situation was hostile, but they have to answer tough questions. They hired this guy. So, as like I said, we'll get to Brinker on how he defines growth for the team here in just a second, because Callahan obviously was not helping the growth of the football team, despite his best efforts. Start with Jim in Nashville.
How you doing, guys? Can you hear me?
Sure can.
Thanks for taking my call, and thanks for being the most honest time slot on radio in Nashville market. First of all, I don't know how more pathetic an organization can get, and I think Amy has the luxury of being called owner. Otherwise, she'd probably be fired too. I didn't think anybody could ruin an organization faster than Jerry Jones at Dallas Cowboys, but obviously I was wrong. If I was Cam Ward and I was Big Jeff, I would come up with a hamstring problem immediately, and I'd be begging for my exit out of this area by the end of the year if I was them. I've never seen anybody squash a market's hopes year in, year out, to the point of, I don't even know how to put it in words, to be quite honest. But again, thanks for what you guys do. You're awesome. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call, Jim. Just under 60 seconds. Listen, everybody's been honest about the situation. Am I a little more strident than a lot of people? Sure, but like 3HL's in here with their Titans colonoscopy Monday. Sure. It's like, I don't think anybody's sugarcoating the situation.
Yeah, there is no spinning it, right? Like, it's impossible to spin. It is what it is, to quote Brian Callahan after the game on Sunday. Like, 2 GMs, 2 head coaches since December of 2022 fired. And that's not including the shuffling of the deck when it comes to Chad Brinker from assistant GM to president of football operations and all of the ins and outs of how they have divvied up leadership in the front office. There is no spinning it. And that's the other thing, and I know we're going to talk about Amy not being there and all these things, and I get Titans fans want to hear from her, but you know what they want more than hearing from her is just winning games, right? And Amy Adams Strunk knows that, right? So the moment the Titans get into a direction, if we ever get to that point where they're winning games, the cries for her to be at a podium go away, just like nobody was complaining that Amy Adams Strunk never spoke while the Titans were winning and getting into the playoffs and going to the AFC Championship. She was the best owner in sports in those years because she was present and interacting with fans, but wasn't meddling and wasn't constantly drawing attention to herself. So yes, Titans fans want her speaking now, but what they want more is wins. And they want her to speak now because they want wins, and they want to know why that hasn't happened and why the decisions that are being made are being made.
Yeah, and why she's empowered the people that she has who are making the incorrect decisions. Or at least, listen, Chad Brinker and Burke Nihill can get better from this, right? No, everybody can get better from this eventually. It's just that we have a 3.5-year sample size of them not. They get worse. So I reserve the right to be proven wrong about the way that this thing is run. But I feel like every time we look up, Lucas, every year we're doing the same version of a worse show. The show's fine, thank God, but we're doing a show about worse results year over year. It would be hard if I was a Titans fan. It would be hard for me to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, no, right now there is nothing for Titans fans to fall back on to feel good that Cam Ward is in the right hands.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the scary thing.
Yeah. But there's nothing that you can point to right now other than just belief. And there's
belief
nothing,
in him, right?
Yeah.
And is he so great that he can overcome all this? Mike Silver wrote a great piece about just that, how Cam Ward is going to have to fight his way through the dysfunction. It's all over The Athletic. He was here talking to everybody. Mike Silver of The Athletic, who's been around NFL Network, who's been around USA Today for a long, long time covering the NFL. Mike Silver will join us at 12:05 today, and we will learn more about what he learned with Cam in the one-on-one time that they got to spend together. That's the thing. We haven't spent, most of us have not spent a lot of individual time with Cam Ward. It's just been press conferences and practices and things like that. So Silver will have a little more insight than we have gotten so far. Blake is in Florida.
Buck, man, I'm just going to say you're my hero. The way that you went in on the organization to start the show, I absolutely loved it. Dude, there's just so much dysfunction. Week one, I called in on the morning show and told these guys, I was like, look, I don't even trust the front office to know what a good quarterback looks like, even if he walked in with a gold jacket, man. But you guys are just nailing it this morning, dude. It's really curious to see what this interim coach can do. I don't even know nothing about him, man, to be honest with you. It's been a rough 3 years. I casually watch at this point as a Titans fan, and it sucks, man.
Thanks for the call, Blake. We appreciate it. We'll give you more information on Mike McCoy in the 11 o'clock hour because he is going to speak today. And Borgonzi, one of the few things that Borgonzi did say, Lucas, is hinted at some changes within the offense. And that was the thing. Weren't we harping on that most of yesterday? Just like all the things that we asked him about, things that they said they were going to implement that they didn't. Mm-hmm. And then Ben Kurt's tweet about stubbornness from Brian Callahan schematically.
And that'll be interesting to see what kind of shakeup there is in the staff, right? Bo Hart agrees he's still the quarterback's coach. There's reports, I think Kaharski was reporting Bill Callahan is going to be
resigns.
Out with Brian. And
not fired, but resigns.
Right. What does that mean for Nick Holtz, who obviously was brought here by Brian, is childhood friends of Brian Callahan's?
Retained as of today, but Mike McCoy is apparently going to tell us about more changes to the staff to come. It would not, I don't know anything yet, but it would not surprise me if Nick Holtz was not around. It's Brian Callahan's childhood friend, buddy. They've worked together for a while, all these different things. And
non-play calling offensive coordinator. Yeah.
What are we doing? Respectfully to Nick Holtz, a great vibes guy as far as I can tell.
Especially if he was constructing Brian Callahan's offensive game plan, right? We take it that was his week-to-week job, essentially communicating the game plan that Brian Callahan wanted executed, Hart agree, being the one calling the plays. So we'll see if we get any more light shit on that.
A question that I saw yesterday that made me laugh on social media, because I think everybody's just looking for a laugh at this point. What else can you do? Is who gets possession of Bertha and Olga?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Custody? Robert, can I interest you in a couple of 380-pound sleds?
I would take one of them. There's no way I could handle both of them.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sure you've seen a Bertha and an Olga in your time.
Yeah, but never both at once.
Oh.
That would be, I only sleep in a queen, dude. Calm down. What are we going to do? Now, Olga, you got to sleep on the floor tonight. It's Bertha's night with Daddy.
You can have them, but you have to
move
get them off the field.
Okay, I'll get Kirby. You think I will? Yeah, let me call Kirby right now. If I called Kirby on the air right now and said, hey, Kirby, the Titans are getting rid of Bertha and Olga. They said we could have them if we could move them. He would have the situation fixed on the phone. We wouldn't have to worry about anything.
By the way, I saw Kirby last night.
I was in the wild?
In the wild?
Not necessarily. I was going to dinner with my fiance and her lovely mother in the Gulch, and we were walking by the station. and I see a little bald head lurking around in the station parking lot.
That little shing.
And I walk up to the fence like, Kirby, what are you doing, man? He's like, I'm getting set up for a 3HL tomorrow. You psycho. It is 8 p.m. the night before. Man just doesn't stop.
The most trustworthy man in Nashville.
Yes.
Oh, by a mile. God knows.
It was great to introduce him to Megan. He had never met Megan before. He immediately said, "Go Rockets," referring to Toledo.
What was Megan's reaction after the fact, after you had left this creature that we all speak about in certain terms?
Oh,
But
she was happy to put a face to a name.
Once you meet him, it's a different experience entirely.
The real question is, what did her mother think about Kirby? Was she swooning?
Unfortunately, no. Diane did not get to meet Kirby.
That's unfortunate for Kirby's wife. That is unfortunate.
Kirby would have had Diane swooning.
She would have. Oh Lordy, I've got the vapors. She talking to Kirby.
She's from Pennsylvania. Sounds like an antebellum woman from
Little
Savannah,
house on the
Georgia.
The way they say water cracks me up. Water. I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, vapors. Isn't the vapors gas? Did I read that recently?
I thought
or did
vapors
I get got
was
by the
sweating.
internet? I thought it was gas.
Oh, let's find out.
Let me get an Urban Dictionary of for one to have the vapors. I want to say it was gas, which would make that phrase even funnier. All right. How about let's go to CJ in Nashville next.
One of my sports prognosticators.
Nope.
Here's the big question I've got is that we haven't been good since Jeff Fisher, and that's been a long time. But my question is, how long does a young quarterback get out there and give us all before he gives up? And that's my question. Thanks, guys.
Oh, man. Before he gives up, I don't think Cam Ward is a give-up type. Like the caller earlier said, if I was Jeff Simmons, I would fake a hammy. If I was, turn your microphone on. I thought that only happened to me.
It happens to both of us.
It happened to you yesterday, and no one called you out.
Me?
To the top of an hour.
Did I do that?
Yes, you went. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show.
Or did you not have my microphone on?
Oh, no, don't do
Because
this now.
that
You're a big
happens, too.
boy. You're a big boy.
Who
You
doesn't
turn
have
your
control?
own microphone on.
Sometimes.
Accountability not strong with this one, Robert. Yeah, you got
you got to turn your mic on to talk, man.
It's not a funny joke.
But yeah, the idea of Cam Ward being like, "Hey, get me out of here," like I don't think he's wired that way.
The people that Jeff Simmons is not wired that way. Cam Ward is not wired that way. Like they are going to fight. God bless Jeff Simmons for putting up as much fight this year as he has. God bless Cam Ward for putting up as much fight as he has, and I think he's going to continue to. That's why you buy in on Cam Ward beyond what the talent may be, because we don't know what the talent may be, and we don't know if he's ever going to become a skilled quarterback. Right now, he is not. But you know that hard wiring is one of the most difficult things to find anywhere in professional sports, and you have a guy that's got it. Don't screw him up.
There are quarterbacks, I think, that maybe would, we've seen that coming out of the draft. We saw it with Caleb Williams. That was a discussion around him, but I don't think that's Cam Ward.
Also, they've obviously been good since Fisher. Like Malarkey had years, Vrabel had years. What was Munchak's best record?
Oh, in like 8-8 range. Like I think the most promising finish to a season was I remember the Titans going down to Houston. They had to win, and they needed a bunch of other things to happen to get into the postseason. And it didn't happen. So he didn't get into the postseason. His best record was 9-7 in year one.
Can I hear from... Well, Robert, at your convenience when you're done answering the phone, can I hear from Chad Brinker on how they define growth for the football team? Because that, of course, is the thing that matters most today.
What does growth look like to you?
Yeah, I think, when you look at whether it's offense, defense, or special teams, there's some areas where we have grown. I think the special teams have played pretty well this season for the most part. Denard Wilson's done a good job, as far as the defense is concerned. We've struggled on offense. I mean, that's not a secret. And we need to be better there on that side of the ball. But I think there's growth opportunities all throughout the roster, whether offense, defense, or special teams. But we need to see more from our players, from our coaches, and we got to get better. There's a standard that we're trying to uphold here moving forward, and we're just not meeting that standard. I don't know if you want anything to add there, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, we all have to do a better job here, and we need to see continuous growth throughout the entire organization, really.
Mike, please say something. Lucas, what am I going to do with that?
I don't know.
Me, if my name was Mike and my wife was fussing at my son.
I don't know if you want anything to add there, Mike.
Yes, me and your mother are very disappointed in you.
Listen, I don't feel bad for Chad Breaker, but like
Mike did feel like the good cop, right? And Breaker's like, I'm tired of being the bad cop up here.
I don't know if you have anything to add there, Mike.
That is, Robert, that is exactly my childhood. My mom chewing me out, and my dad, who was the good cop, be like, yeah, I don't know. You want to say something?
You want to chime in here?
You should not have done that.
Your mother's right.
What did he do?
Turns out Mike had nothing to add there.
Mike had the vapors.
And it's tough because Mike is the least responsible, right?
Oh, my God.
Of people in leadership of where we are right now.
He and Cam Ward, they are absolved of all of this. All of it. Okay? If you just got here, I'm sorry. Everybody else, it's on you. Like, it's on everybody else that has been here. Basically, if you were in your position or some position of power from 2022, that's when the bottom fell out, right? 7 straight losses, 2022?
Yeah, 22.
If you were in a position of power from 2022 on with this organization and you're still there, your fault.
I mean, the crazy thing is, like, he's not wrong about the growth on special teams, obviously, on defense. That's just how bad it's been on offense, that those things have been negated by the amount of regression with this offense. It's insane. It's insane. And they're not even turning the ball over at the rate they were through 6 games last year.
Yeah, and then they did it.
They did on Sunday.
Yeah,
that's the first time. But that's how bad the offense has been, though. Like, put that into context. Defense is playing they're playing winning football. Special teams has done a 180. You're not having crazy turnovers that nuke you every week, yet still the offense is just this weight.
All right. Are we going to do Oh No? Or is just the entire thing Oh No? Like, did we just do Oh No for 45 minutes?
Some pretty good tickets to give
We
away.
do have some Keith Urban tickets for this weekend, actually, the 7th.
Yeah,
or the
and
17th.
Sad Keith Urban coming off a divorce. Could get a very emotional performance.
I feel like we should push Oh No since we have so many calls already. Guide me here.
Let's talk about it in the break.
I'm Buck Isaac. It's 104.5.
I don't know if you want anything to add there, Mike.
Erectile dysfunction can wreck your confidence. It can impact your relationship, your mental health, and even your sense of identity. But there's good news. There's real help. Since 2014, the Tennessee Men's Clinic has helped thousands of guys get back to feeling like themselves. These aren't cookie-cutter treatments. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is urology-based and staffed with multiple licensed providers who specialize in men's sexual health. They use proven treatments tailored to your specific situation. No one size fits all. Whether you're dealing with mild or moderate ED, performance issues, or even conditions like Peyronie's disease, their medical team will work with you to create a plan that gets results, often with options most men didn't even know were out there. And forget waiting around. They have in-house labs, so you get your blood work results in minutes, not days. If you felt the sting of performance issues recently, call the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes a full medical consultation, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose right there in the office. 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090, or book easily online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Show feels like its body language has been bad today, so Bad Bunny's going to fix it. I'm fired up for this halftime show. I really can't wait. 615-737-1045 is the number. We are going to do, instead of oh no today feels like just a general oh no, like the Titans organization is just everybody's oh no. So we're going to give away the tickets at the end of the show for those Keith Urban tickets, and we'll tell you how you can win those tickets after Mike Silver joins us in the noon hour. So you can stick around for that. In the meantime, we will continue to take your calls on the Titans situation. Brian Callahan fired. Chad Brinker and Mike Borgonzi spoke to us at 7:30 p.m. last night. Right in the middle. I didn't see a snap of Monday Night Football, either of them. I was talking about doubleheader, excited for too much football. Robert, I feel bad because we had to do primetime then after that, though I thought primetime was great.
Primetime was a lot of fun. It would have been better to watch Josh Allen lose in primetime, but you know what? I can watch the highlights.
You got both.
We got both.
You got both. How bad did they lose? I haven't even looked at the box score.
It wasn't. I would just say it was a very pedestrian outing from Josh Allen. He didn't make the plays that you're accustomed to him making in games in which they are down. The Falcons came out, jumped to a pretty big lead to start off with. It was an insurmountable hole. They're driving at the end, but too little too late. 50 seconds left. He rolls out of the pocket to the left side, throws a ball that was tipped, I believe, by a defender, lands right in the Atlanta Falcons defender's hand, and that was game over.
Bijan Robinson was phenomenal.
I feel like every year there is like the era. Like
you called that, by the way.
What did I call?
Bijan?
No, I called Drake London. But Drake London also went off, almost scoring a touchdown at the end of the half, time expiring as he's pushed out at the half-yard line. Yeah. That was a heartbreaker if the Bills were able to come back. But the theme of this year, you thought your team was good? That is the whole theme of this year. Bills, Eagles, Ravens. Like, you thought your team was bad? Steelers, they're good. Colts, they're good. Like, you thought you knew what was going to happen?
I don't know. Jets and Titans, we were right.
Yeah, you're right. Correct.
Called that one.
Bijan, 19 carries, 170 yards, and a touchdown. Also 6 receptions for 68 yards. Drake London, Bijan also had an 81-yard touchdown where he is shrugging off defenders like it's nothing. Like not even a stiff arm. He just keeps running, and nobody can bring him down. Drake London, 10 catches for 158 and a score.
The second best running back performance in the NFC South. Only outdone by Rico Dowdle.
How about that quote after the fact?
Dude, what a badass.
They weren't buckled up. It's talk about the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's too far removed for me to make it my Friday fire, but I mean, you want to talk about getting your piss hot. Like that gets you going.
He had 239 scrimmage yards, franchise record for the Panthers.
That was sick.
And then back-to-back games, if you look at his stats, too. Sorry, I keep cutting you off going to the phones.
Okay.
Take the phone.
I was just going to say, future Titans offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel. Anybody? No, just me. Okay.
As long as he brings the pens.
What's in that cart though? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Whatever he's smoking that makes him mumble mouthed at the press conference after the fact, I don't think I can do that. Let's go to Mark in Nashville.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Man, so I got a couple of notes here. Not going to be too long-winded though. Chad Brinker is too damn close to Amy, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, you need a business person that can speak for you. But I think he's too much like a son to her, you know. I think he kind of like had this protection aura around when Vrabel was around. But also I think that the Raiders game is what really lost us, what got him fired, because he was incompetent, man. Like, we almost lost to Arizona. And then I think it was like, all right, we can't beat this bad team, Raiders. Then he definitely got to be fired. And my last question is, does Bo still get the play calling?
Thank you for the call. We'll find out today. We'll find out at 1 o'clock today when Mike McCoy speaks, the interim head coach. I mean, again, it's a compilation of things, but they looked lifeless against a Raiders team that was clearly and obviously like good. Like nobody came away from that thinking that the Raiders got right on Sunday. Yeah, I mean, Geno still threw a pick. Their offensive line was still bad. Ashton Genty still getting hit behind the line of scrimmage. Like all the things that the Raiders have been bad at, they were still bad at.
They were gifted a touchdown by that sack fumble, but their defense forced, to be fair. But yeah,
Titans were just worse. Let's go to John and Franklin.
Hey, guys. I just think all through the years, the Titans have struggled offensive. Never really had a lot of explosive power. Think about other than, yes, Derrick Henry, and they've had their time. But when have they ever gone out and got when you've been bad like they've been for a while? Yeah, you need to improve the offensive line, and they brought some old guys in that helped out a little bit. But when have we ever gotten the A.J. Brown? Just name one time in 20 whatever years they've been here, since 99, that they've ever gone out and gotten that, spent the money and gotten a wide receiver, somebody that's going to cost them some money, but it's going to provide instant firepower. They've never done it.
Well, they tried it with Ridley, right? It just failed.
I mean, you named it, John. A.J. Brown.
They drafted.
Done. Atlanta was done with him. They get guys that are already past.
Well, Atlanta wasn't done with him, John, specifically. I apologize for cutting you off, but Atlanta wasn't done with him. He got a year-long gambling suspension. Then he went to Jacksonville, and then he came here.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. They don't get anybody. We've never gone out and gotten an A.J. Brown, in my opinion. We've never gone if you can name one. Yeah, we've gotten Moss when he was done back in the day. What was the guy that played for the Steelers? He was done.
Nate.
They drafted A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I mean, are you talking about?
Yeah, they drafted him, but we've also they screwed up the draft for so many years. What you guys are talking about? But they've got it. I looked last night. She's the 26th. There's 6 owners that have, and not wealth is not everything. They're all wealthy, but there's 6 owners that have. There's only 6 owners that have less money than her. So she's not at the top of the scale.
Yeah, she's spent, though. It's got nothing to do with that, John. They just haven't drafted. To your point, listen, I can't tell you. They drafted Derek Mason. They found Drew Bennett as a UDFA, and they drafted A.J. Brown. Nate Washington obviously came in here and had a couple of good years, but they don't draft wide receivers well as an organization historically. So you're not wrong.
That feels like a conversation for another day.
that mock draft Monday, bud, is looming over your shoulder like the Undertaker.
What are you talking about? We're firing up hot boards over here, bud. Mock draft Monday is miles away. We are lighting the beacons. It is coaching search season.
I got
Get
so
out of here
excited.
with mock draft Monday.
I thought you were going to say that it was on the horizon, like we were going to go.
Bring me the horizon.
Yeah, like I thought we were going to. Thought we were going to go to mock draft Monday. I'd be cool with that.
Robert would rather do mock draft Monday than anything else that we've done here because he is also in a mock draft Monday situation.
It is coaching search season.
No, it's not. Because we have 11 more games of this slot before we can even talk about that. Really.
No, we can talk about it ad nauseum.
Is Amy Adams Strunk a real person? We'll talk about it next. Being financially independent is critical. What peace of mind it can bring you once you finally achieve that if you have not already. For many of us, our finances can be overwhelming, whether it's your taxes or your financial investments, whether it's your wealth management or your retirement planning. Trajan Wealth can offer you so many tools that will allow you to succeed at a high level. If you're interested in wealth management that's designed to protect, maintain, and expand your financial portfolio, Trajan Wealth understands the importance of tactical investments and tailored insights for growth in line with your risk tolerance. Call Trajan Wealth today to learn more about these strategies. 615-270-5000. That's 615-270-5000. 2 locations here in Middle Tennessee, Brentwood and Franklin, or online at TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. This is a paid advertisement.
It is 11:01. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Titans have fired head coach Brian Callahan. The team announced it in a statement yesterday from President of Football Operations Chad Brinker. Callahan was 4 of 19 in less than 2 seasons as the Titans head coach, and Mike McCoy will take over as the interim this season. McCoy was a senior offensive assistant under Callahan. He is the former head coach of the San Diego Chargers, went 27-37 from 2013 through 2016. McCoy will meet with Titans media today, coming up at 1 p.m. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
All right, one of the things that I love about doing this show, other than, for the most part, Lucas looks kind of miserable today. For the most part, we collectively enjoy showing up to work. Has this been the toughest year for us to, be in a good mood? Because all three of us are experiencing a football season.
You've been in a great mood. Don't even lie.
Yeah,
Don't
you've been a pleasure
lie.
to be around.
I had the time of my life yesterday. I'm not even going to lie to you.
You could pretend like you hate this, but the reality is the Titans, when they suffer, it gives you life. You walk in here with a pep in your step.
Yeah.
Off a Titans loss or when things are bad.
That's not true.
Oh, it's so true.
Now, here's what I tell you. I wish that they were 8-9 or 9-8 every year.
You don't.
Yes, I do.
That is such a lie.
Absolutely, I do.
That is such a lie.
No, it wouldn't matter what football team I was covering. I wish, if I'm doing a sports talk radio show, for 9-8 or 8-9 every year. I want them good enough to push for a playoff spot. I want them just questionable enough that it gives us something to talk about. What would we do if the Titans were 15-2? What does Chief Sports Talk Radio even sound like? Well, he did it again.
I don't know. Sounds pretty fun.
The football sounds fun for sure. But one of the many things that I enjoy about this is the chat. The chat is a good time. FNM Bank Chat, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, where you can live stream the show. You can also call us. 615-737-1045 is the number. Somebody just said I endorsed Jeff Fisher to be the next Titan head coach for 8-9 or 9-8.
Yeah, you don't get to pretend like you're not enjoying this today.
No, I enjoy coaching searches. I enjoy things that are interesting. The football is not interesting, so everything else has to be interesting to keep my attention.
As Nick points out, you enjoy chaos and anarchy.
Yeah, that's not bad.
What you enjoy.
But this isn't chaos and anarchy. Chaos and anarchy, there's still some fun. The 2019 season felt like chaos because they were 2-4. We had forked them already. They were dead in the water. Marcus had nothing left to give. Joe Flacco's Broncos 16-0 in Denver. It was terrible. And then the chaos broke out in the Chargers game. Chaos is also allowed to be a good thing too, Lucas. And it can provide some good football. We're just not getting any of it anymore other than, we're getting the worst kind of chaos. We're getting administrative chaos, which is gross. But I am enjoying the chat. Because one of the things that is possible in the chat is people can come up with fake names. There is a Duck Falling in the chat. Buck Rising, Duck Falling. There's a Lucas Pan Pizza in the chat, which also feels a bit, do you feel attacked?
I do.
Italian heritage?
On Columbus Day week, no less.
Well, are you a Columbus Day guy?
In this house, Christopher Columbus is a hero. It will not besmirch the name of Christopher Columbus in this house.
You're going to take that position? You having a good time today, bud? It's like when he came in here all fired up about Buddy, having no idea what was going on with the Bad Bunny stuff on the internet.
Yeah, I know. So innocently, I can't wait for Bad Bunny.
Lucas, idiot.
He hates America, don't you know? He's a demon man. I'm sorry, I just like his music.
He wears dresses. We can't understand him. Okay, so what? What was Prince?
I really would not have brought that up if I didn't see an inkling
it was so funny.
of backlash about Bad Bunny. I didn't realize.
Unintentionally stepping into things that are, they shouldn't be polarizing. It's stupid that that's a conversation, but the things that are polarizing societally right now, it may be my top 3 favorite things on the show. You think I like bad football? I like that more.
I was like, I just like his music.
Discriminating against Italian Americans. It just makes me want to rewatch The Sopranos. Anyway.
I do not endorse Christopher Columbus. Let it be known.
He was an Italian hero.
My point is, I love the chat because the chat is funny. Like, the chat is funny, and they can come up with fake names. Like, they have fake us, but there is also a fake Amy Adams Strunk in the chat today. Which brings me to my next question. Is she a real person? Because it would be really tough for a Titans fan. When is the last time a Titans fan has laid eyes on Amy Adams Strunk? She does walk out pregame a lot. So if you get to the games
2 weeks ago, like, I don't know,
if you get to the games early, but like Lucas, there's not a lot of people at these home games. Like, there are people. Yes,
Mike Keith's Ring of Honor.
Yeah, sure. She was standing out there for that, and
like, I get what you're doing, but okay, get to your point.
What, do you got somewhere to be?
No, let's go.
See, this is the problem, Robert. You told him, you two made a lunch pact that you weren't going to eat during the show. He hasn't eaten today, so he's already grouchy, and he knows that he's going to have to buffer me when there's no way that I could possibly be wrong about any of this today.
Well, he's
up against it.
So
he's a liar?
Yes.
Again? I thought you were going to lunch.
Well, yeah, we are going to lunch, but we also made a pact not to eat so we could be as hungry as possible.
We did.
And I look into the studio, and he's eating a pecan from Amy's farm.
Oh, but they're delightful. Oh, those are Amy Adams Strunk candied pecans?
Yes, they are.
The kind she was eating watching the press conference as her administrators answered her questions last night?
They were delicious. I'm glad she dropped those off.
You know what? I would like to eat these while we do this segment. That feels appropriate. Talk, Lucas.
Okay, so like is Amy Adams Strunk a real person? Yes, she is. Are Titans fans ever see her? Yeah, they saw her like 2 weeks ago. But all right, like, I want you to get to your point about Amy Adams Strunk. Like, yes, she wasn't there. Yes, Titans fans want to hear from her. Titans fans also just want the team to be good and show some sort of direction.
Oh, these look delightful.
So they are. They're really good.
Do you want another one?
No, I don't. I can't do it. We're going to be eating. We're going to eat so much in like 2 hours.
So obviously she's a real person. I saw her most recently in Arizona doing a little golf clap for the players as they walked in the locker room after a win. My question is, what do you want from Amy Adams Strunk? You as a Titans fan, what do you want from her?
You want a winning product. That's all you want.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want a winning product. But when you do not have the winning product, and where is the sign of the winning product to come? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're at least talking 2026 now. Reset the board. Nobody expects them to rattle off, what do we got left? 11 straight wins, right? In the absence of a winning product, what do you want from your owner? Because she was not there last night. Okay. She was not there when Mike Borgonzi got hired. She's usually at least there for the photo op, but she's not. She's been as absentee to the fan base as she's ever been. She's there when it's good. She's not when it's bad. She's at every game. She's there for the product, which is why she made the move that she made yesterday. But I'm asking you as a Titans fan, 615-737-1045, what do you want from Amy Adams Strunk right now? Now, beyond the winning product. We understand we all want the winning product. What do you want from her at this particular moment? Because Chad Brinker, Robert, if you're prepared, was asked, well, I'll just let you hear the entire exchange with Paul Kaharski and Chad Brinker.
Where is she right now?
What do you mean?
Where's Amy Adams Strunk right now?
Yeah, she's at her home.
Why isn't she here?
I'm here representing her.
Can you guys move forward with the plan that you have, expecting her to have the patience that you've preached in this plan, given that she's just fired yet somebody else in a leadership role?
Yeah, like I said, that doesn't change. The plan's not changing as far as the patience and building this roster and all the things that go with that. Unfortunately, there's a change that need to be made in this process where we're at right now because of the lack of growth that we've seen with this football team. You know, just to reiterate it again, I mean, we talked about that being a very important thing. We didn't talk about wins and losses. Of course, we want to win as many football games as we can possibly win, but we preached and talked about the growth, and we just have not seen the growth with the team to this point.
Is that a fair? Who's calling you?
An unknown number from Alabama, so I turned it down.
Now answer it.
From Gordo, Alabama. I have no interest in spam calls from Gordo, Alabama.
There's a place called Fat Alabama.
Yeah, I guess there is.
That's incredible.
Where is it? I wonder where it is on the map.
My little gordito.
I hope you're not saying things like that to Cheyenne. That's
as I tickle her chin. Oh, my little gordito, little swollen today.
Now, how would you handle that if she did that to you? That would be funnier.
No, it would not.
Oh, Gordo, Alabama. It's not too far from Tuscaloosa. Okay. It is Tennessee, Alabama week.
Oh, God, I forgot about that. We have to get to that at some point. Who are we going to get on to talk about Tennessee, Alabama?
Tentatively, we have Josh Payton Studio Friday.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, maybe we have an Adam Sparks appearance at some point this week.
That would be swell. I would like some good with the bad. So, is that a sufficient... So, one, you watched the press conference, whether it was this morning or last night. What was your reaction to Kaharski's question there? Where is she? Why isn't she here? Do you think that's a fair question to ask?
Yeah,
I'm asking you as a Titan.
Yeah, no, it's a fair question to ask. Like, things are bad right now. Of course, people want to hear from Amy Adams Strunk.
And we're not even getting statements anymore.
Right.
We're getting statements from
Brinker. Which I was surprised by. I was surprised by. That is another thing that has not happened. I think every fan base of every struggling franchise wants to hear more. They want more accountability from leadership, which goes all the way up to ownership. More often than not, unless it is a situation like a Jerry Jones where he makes every decision there is to make with Cowboys personnel and everything, and is the most front-facing owner in all of sports. More often than not, fans don't get that from ownership, right?
No, that's not true.
When's the last time Woody Johnson held a press conference?
The Jets owner?
With the hapless Jets.
Owners meetings, right? Like a lot, because I went back through during owners meetings because she didn't talk. She was nowhere to be found, like publicly anyway. The vast majority of them did speak.
Sure, but we're talking about in the course of a season when changes are made. Like when the Jets fire a coach, when the Jets do something.
Now, he's put out statements because there was that Rossini reporting about his kids being involved in personnel decisions last year. He's had to respond to some things. There's not been investigative journalism necessarily on Amy Adams Strunk. Nobody cares enough about the Titans to do investigative journalism that way until Mike Silver, who will join us shortly. So she has not been asked to respond. Even then, I don't know who would respond on her behalf. Would Burke Nihill send out a statement if there was something? If Amy was in a theoretical Woody Johnson situation, would Amy respond or would Burke respond? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, two things can be true. Fans are validated. Fans in media are validated in wanting to hear Amy Adams Strunk speak. Absolutely. Amy Adams Strunk also has a prerogative to not speak. She doesn't have to speak at any point if she doesn't want to. And she is using that right.
Nor does she have to put out a statement. But, like, isn't that the bare minimum? Because it's not like she's really right. I mean, she has input on the statements, of course, but
I was surprised.
She's being fed lines on what to put in her statement. Like, there's a whole staff dedicated to
This is the first time that a change like this has been made where we don't at least have a statement.
And the Borgonzi Hauer was the first time she didn't show up at a press conference for a photo. So I don't know what to do with this. But it's more important about what you want. It's not about what media wants. Obviously, we also would like to ask her these questions because Brinker is speaking on her behalf, and at the core of it, she's making the decision.
But I saw a tweet from Titans fans a Titans fan going around that said, I don't want to hear Amy Adams Strunk speak. I just want her to keep cutting checks, right?
Cool.
So
totally cool.
I'd be curious. I'm also curious where Titans fans are on that.
Well, let's get a few. How about Anthony in, is it Archville?
Yes, sir.
What's up? Oh, can you turn us down in the background, Anthony? We're on a bit of a delay, if you could.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
The thing that I would like to see her do, if she's not going to take any part on, as far as an owner, to get what she needs for this team, she needs to sell the franchise unless somebody knows what they're doing.
But you understand why she'll never do that, right?
Oh, I understand that.
Okay.
For this to be where we need to be, something's got to be shook up a little bit in those front offices up there and wake up. People, this thing of people being able to go from team to team like a portal. I mean, shoot, there's people out there that can play ball. You give them a chance. So, but what do I know about football?
Well, it's not even that, Anthony, but and like it's a common refrain, right? From fans, sell the team. Well, she's never going to sell the team. She just had $1 billion added onto her net worth when they broke ground on that stadium. That thing is going to print money for her and her family for generations.
Hey, well, she said that in the chat. Amy Adams Strunk here. This team is an infinite money glitch. I'm never selling.
See, this is why I love the chat. I love that there's a fake Amy Adams Strunk in the chat responding to this segment.
Can we take a moment to realize just what it took for Dan Snyder to sell the Washington Commanders?
A congressional subpoena, and even that took years.
A congressional subpoena, like borderline blackmail, right? It got hostile where he's got stuff on Roger Goodell and other NFL owners want him out.
He was ready to air them all out.
Oh, yeah. It got bad. And finally, enough came together to essentially force him to sell. That's what it takes. It's not a thing that happens.
No.
So
it would be stupid. I would judge her more if she sold the team. I mean, you're insane. What? Before the stadium even opens, that thing is going to print money on concerts, on WrestleMania, on events. It's almost not even about the Tennessee Titans, other than the Tennessee Titans actually happen to be an NFL franchise that they can build a stadium in Nashville for to do all the other stuff. We'll take more of your phone calls. We'll also talk about the level of attractiveness of the Titans' job. Chad Brinker spoke on that yesterday, too. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Lake lovers, listen up. Tennessee National Lakefront Resort Golf and Marina Community is releasing a brand new phase of lake lots, one day only, Saturday, October 18th. You can get a cottage package with a boat slip from $379,900, home sites with 40 miles of views, and a covered boat slip from $99,900. Move-in-ready homes and custom builds, lot sizes up to 7 acres. Private golf cart access to a new marina and resort, 10 miles of walking trails, 3.5 miles of shoreline, a brand new 26,000 square foot clubhouse, waterfront concerts, pickleball, pools, on-site coffee shop, and so much more. Play on the lake or simply relax at the waterfront restaurant just over 20 minutes from Knoxville, Tennessee. Financing is available. Celebrate the lake life and make memories. This limited property release Saturday, October 18th. Visit TennesseeNational.com or call 865-408-9992 to secure your private tour. Memories begin here at Tennessee National. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in. So, is this an attractive job? Question for the room. Question for the audience. Is the Tennessee Titans 2026 an attractive job? We didn't think so last time around. They got Mike Borgonzi.
With the asterisk of every NFL head coaching job is an attractive job. Right? Like the conversation is advanced deeper than that because the easiest thing to say is, of course it is one of 32, the whole deal.
Okay. Is it the least attractive jobs, or is it the least attractive job in the NFL, or is the Jets worse?
Well, why don't we talk about it in the context of other jobs that could come open? Obviously, the Titans are the first to make a move. Seems like the Mike McDaniel era is just about over in Miami. Who else feels like...
So let's do that. Let's just work our way down the list.
Yeah.
Titans or Dolphins?
Titans. Rookie quarterback, number 1 overall pick. Dolphins have their issues, too. They've had their ownership issues.
Sure. But
Tua on that contract, the Tyreek Hill contract and situation coming off the injury.
Well, that's done, right? Like, he's done.
Is he up?
I don't think he's up.
Hill?
Yeah.
He is owed a monstrous amount of money.
Like, that's a tough money situation, quarterback on a second deal. I would lean Titans over Dolphins.
Okay. You are making it specific to personnel.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, given the circumstance, we need to have a larger conversation.
Sure, but what are the Dolphins, like a shining model of an NFL organization?
I think Stephen Ross tries to win. I think Stephen Ross may be kind of bumbling about it. I mean, he cost his organization a first-round draft pick because he tried to recruit Tom Brady and Sean Payton.
Didn't we play that audio from the Bill Simmons podcast of him calling the Dolphins one of the 5 worst, most dysfunctional franchises in the NFL in the preseason?
Yeah, didn't you push back on that heavily?
I did. I thought that was
crazy. You walked yourself right into that one, brother.
Would the Dolphins' job be more enticing because the head coach and the general manager would likely be on the same timeline? Chris Greer would likely be let go.
He has to be fired, right?
And there is I don't think we actually got to talk about this, but there is a thought to be like, why is Chris Greer still there? because of the Brian Flores still there. Brian Flores lawsuit still ongoing. He knows where the body's buried. Stephen Ross doesn't want to get rid of a guy who could turn on him in court, so they still have Chris Greer. That's a fascinating situation, but I think that would make it slightly more attractive because you would be on the same timeline as your general manager. But if we're looking at it from personnel, I think the Titans are in a far better position than the Dolphins would be looking forward.
Yeah, exclusive to personnel, yes. It's again, the nebulousness of the Titans organization. Stephen Ross is one guy. Stephen Ross is making the decisions. I don't know who's pulling the trigger on whom right now, other than things seemed rushed yesterday, which would indicate Amy. Okay, next.
I mean, who is next, right?
Jets.
Yeah, Aaron Glenn after 1 year?
Man, it's bad. It's bad.
It is bad.
They are the worst. As a football team, they may not be the worst organization right now, but they're bad.
And they're a bad organization.
Yeah.
So you're talking about potentially picking number 1 overall. Fernando Mendoza, come on down. Welcome to New York.
Hey, man.
Robert, what do you think?
I think the Jets are a little bit tougher because of the financial situation they put themselves in signing young stars that may necessarily not be a fit for the next head coach. I think it would take a special person where Sauce Gardner, he's starting to get found out. He's starting to not be the elite cover corner he was in his rookie and sophomore seasons. They signed Garrett Wilson, who is visibly upset with the way things are going in New York if you're watching the games.
Yeah, it's bad.
And they don't have a franchise quarterback. Miami, if you wanted to argue they do with Tua, I would understand that because of their financial obligation to him. But Tennessee has something both of them don't have, which is, and I'm using air quotes because we don't know yet. We don't know if he is good or bad, but at least they have a guy they think could be a franchise quarterback.
And there's
on
even
his rookie deal.
And there's even less consensus about the number 1 overall pick or the top quarterback picked this year than there was even last year. Because even we were entertaining a conversation about Shador or Cam, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing. We're halfway through the regular season. Like, we saw just how much that evolved, even from the end of the college football season to the combine. So you're right.
That's fair.
There is no consensus right now, but so much can happen over the next few months.
What if we did the Browns? What if they decide that Kevin Stefanski is not the real deal? It's like, wow, we don't want to be this guy.
Can they have Kevin Stefanski?
They are 1-5.
That would be great.
Yeah, it would be very sexy. And the Browns are on a very similar timeline to the Titans, as they are also building a new stadium. They also want to have a good product on the field. You can kind of see that where they shoved their chips off of the board this year in the draft, moving back, selecting Mason Graham, allowing the Jags to come up and get Travis Hunter. So trading both of their starting quarterbacks, who they thought would be the guys this year, Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, end up starting Dylan Gabriel. So they have 2 potential franchise quarterbacks, but if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. They have 2 first-round picks next year. It would be a sexy situation because you have the Haslams, who are not shy of spending money. They're not broke like the Bengals are, but you would have to contend with, I don't think Andrew Berry would get fired.
I think lately, and listen, the Browns are no model of NFL ownership, but I think lately the Browns are a better organization than the Titans are. The Browns right now, it seems like, have more ammunition than the Titans do. I would favor them. I would honestly be surprised if they were fool enough to fire Stefanski. I think that would be short-sighted. So, if they are short-sighted, then maybe it's not as good as, or not significantly better than the Titans than I think it is, because that would impact my decision-making there. But if you made me pick today, Titans or Browns, I'd pick Browns.
Titans or Cardinals?
Kyler. Oh, what's Kyler's contract situation?
We're reaching the end of it. I think it is get out from underneathable. If I steal a phrase.
You know what? I would say Cardinals then, because, and not just because I know him and I've worked with or covered him is the appropriate way to say it.
Yeah,
it's the appropriate way to say it.
I lied. You got him for 2 more years.
Still. Yeah, the potential out is in 2028.
So you have him until he is 30.
I think Monty Ossenfort's put together a good roster. I think you can find I think you can ride out Kyler for a couple of years and then find a veteran quarterback situation. I think the Cardinals are a better job.
Yeah, it's probably also worth to note that, you could probably make another owner believe, hey, you don't need to go find a quarterback. This quarterback draft is dookie. It's ass. Take Kyler. Just give us a first-round pick. I think if people were trading first-round picks for Sam Bradford, trading first-round picks for guys that are Carson Wentz, you can get a first-round pick for Kyler Murray. If you did not want him on your team, I think you would be able to move him.
Thing is, I think the Mike Borgonzi move that Borgonzi made to accept the Titans job showed us, and I think this is often true with coaches, that yes, even when there is dysfunction that preceded you, when things are bad, because the Titans have made these moves when things have been bad, right? So I think coaches look at it as, yeah, I really don't care what it's looked like because the guys before me all did a bad job with what they had. I like what I have in the quarterback. I can do more than the previous coach did as we continue to build out this roster. So, yeah, I could care less about what it's looked like, the turnover before me, because I know I have the belief I'm going to do a better job with what's there now, and we're going to continue to build, and there's a lot of flexibility to build moving forward with the money and the draft capital that they are talking about wanting for the next couple of years.
So you would think you would pick Titans over Cardinals?
I would, because of the Kyler. But to that same,
I know more about Kyler than I do about Cam Ward.
No, I would say that's why I would say Titans over Dolphins. But yeah, when it comes to Kyler, there's also plenty of coaches that say, no, I'll go win with Kyler.
Because you would be able to, there's more there with Kyler. You have a better chance with a veteran quarterback than you do with a guy on a rookie deal, no matter how promising.
Right now, I think I'd lean Cardinals. Yeah.
Any more? Because I think it
sounds
sounds like Dayball stink. Oh no, really? You want him gone?
It's not that I want him gone. I just think it's the same thing with the James Franklin thing. Like, if you know, you know. I don't necessarily agree with getting rid of him. I think he's a good coach.
John Harbaugh.
But sometimes I feel like you reach the peak of what you can accomplish. Sometimes your message gets stale. It happens to good coaches all the time. Brian Billick won a Super Bowl with the Ravens. It's the entire reason he was let go. His message was no longer being received by the team.
He's been there so long.
So if they fail to do something, if they fail to turn it around, fail to make the playoffs, it would not surprise me. Of the two schools of thought, one, they ask him, hey, you're getting older. You're the second oldest coach in the NFL. Would you like to come to the front office and have a front office position? Or if you don't do that, we're going to let you go, John. So, I'd put the possibility of that opening happening at 45 to 50%.
Okay. And that would be an attractive job.
Yeah, I mean, immediately. Like, we don't need to hem and haw around it like Ravens over Titans in a heartbeat. All right, let's hear from Chad Brinker before we get back to phone calls. Let's hear from Chad Brinker on the question. You have the question included in this one, too? I believe. No. Okay, so Kaharski was asking him if he believes. You do have the question. Okay, let's play it.
There's plenty of time now, but does Amy realize with the constant changeover here, the damage that's happened to the franchise in terms of the national perception and of what your ultimate candidates are going to think if they're given a choice between this job and another job where the owner doesn't make an annual change of a position in power?
Yeah, I think this is a very frustrating situation for everybody involved, including our owner. This job will be attractive. I have no doubt about that. But at the same time, I want to keep our focus right now on Mike McCoy leading this football team and focusing on the New England Patriots coming to town this Sunday. And like I said, we'll have plenty of time to talk about those things at a later time.
So that is Chad Brinker explaining on behalf of ownership that he was asked, obviously, you heard the question, whether she understands that this looks less attractive because she keeps firing people. Now, it's also a great job to be a fired coach. I mean, the best job is fired college coach, but it ain't a bad thing to be a fired NFL coach. If you can take a crack at it, get a buyout. I mean, I know that's not the end game type situation, but I'm not feeling terribly bad for Brian Callahan today because he's free of this nonsense and he's getting paid to go away. 615-737-1045 is the number. We will get to another interesting exchange with Chad Brinker later on in the show. Mike Silver will also join us. We're going to move high school football hero to tomorrow, Lucas?
Yes, Andre Adams, the stud quarterback out of Antioch, who is undefeated right now, will join us tomorrow.
Very good. Lewis is in Las Vegas.
Hey, guys. Appreciate you for taking my call. I feel like I had to call in and have Miss Amy's back, man. Like, I don't think she's a bad owner. I agree with everything she's done, minus the Vrabel firing. But, like, if you go back to John Robinson, 3 bad draft class, A.J. Brown, get him out of here. I know it's reactive, but, I mean, just get him out of here. Then you got the Vrabel. She just wants to win. She's spending money. You know, the Rand Carthon, that was a good hire, with the scouting experience. Didn't work out. Get rid of him. Bring in Mike Bergant. And then everybody's been saying for 3 weeks, fire Callahan, and she finally fires Callahan. Now she's a problem. Like, I almost feel like she can do nothing right in anybody's eyes. And just to let you know, she is real. I met her on Sunday at the game. She was a very nice lady. I said hi. She walked over. She sat there for like 3 to 5 minutes just having a conversation with me just as a regular fan. So I love Miss Amy. I think she's doing a good job. She's spending money. You know, everything that she's done has a reason. So I just felt like I had to call and kind of have her back a little bit, man. So she's an awesome owner.
Yeah, I mean, she's not awesome. Her football team is not in good shape. Also, is he in the middle of a train track?
Hey, appreciate that call, Kenneth. Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Like, I'm glad that she made you feel good for a little bit, but her product sucks. Oh, Kenneth.
Yes. I was alluding that was
the
Amy's
nephew,
son.
No, it's not her son.
Oh.
It's like a cousin or something like that. I can't remember the family tree.
Either way, appreciate the call, Kenneth. Thank you.
That was a good joke by you. I'm sorry I trampled it. I mean, I don't think she's an awesome owner. Her product is terrible and she keeps firing people. But it doesn't mean that she can't get it right eventually. Like, there's nothing wrong with coming to her defense, and I'm glad that she took the time to talk to fans. You deserve it. But that doesn't, like, right all the wrongs because she made you feel good for 3 to 5 minutes is what he said.
I mean, all of the firings, like, you can agree with every firing, right? Like, who are we looking at? And then I guess Mike Vrabel would be the one that Titans fans say he should have never been fired. But
and there was plenty of them.
There's a lot of context around that. Yes. Yeah. The hiring of Ran Carthon to pair with Mike Vrabel.
Now, the context was also right. Yeah, and she forced that. That was that. So he's wrong. Ran Carthon was not a good hire because the head coach that they had, who was the favorite son,
didn't want him. They were supposed to collaborate.
And that was, they nuked the collaboration right out the gate.
Yeah.
Because Mike was asked his opinion. He gave his opinion, and they did it anyway.
Yeah. And it was set up not to succeed, and obviously it did not succeed.
Will is next.
Hey, guys, 2 requests. The first one you've already talked about, and I won't spend much time on it, but, sell the team. She's an absentee landlord. She never fully transitioned to a Tennessee franchise, and the results reflect that. I think it's silly when people call her Miss Amy. The second one is, something that my son said when he was 8 years old. We used to drive by the stadium every day on the way to school. He said, "Dad, the Titans logo sucks." And you know what? He's dead right. It looks like it was cooked up for a 16-bit Nintendo game, and you know it, and I know it. And if you're a player, you don't want to wear that garbage. So, look good, do good. That applies on the football field, too. And meanwhile, I would bet my house and a bag of chips that only a small fraction of the Titans fan base really knows that the team name is a bank shot reference to classical Greece because, Nashville is the quote-unquote Athens of the South. So there's no value in that. So you got a new quarterback, you got a new stadium, you got a new coach. Why not go ahead and have a rebrand? And here's a crazy idea for you. Just be the damn Oilers already. You're already cosplay as the Oilers once or twice a year, so come out of the closet already. Does Tennessee Oilers make great geographical sense? No, but neither does the LA Lakers, the Utah Jazz, and there's never been a Tiger in Louisiana. So that's my take, fellas. Thank you.
Thank you for the call. What the hell was that in the background?
Man,
where do you guys call us from?
They're calling from work. These are regular people. They're doing honest jobs.
Yeah. Buck just can't even fathom working for a living.
Where the heck is he? Are you in a factory of some sort? Are you doing manual labor? That sounds awful.
I've never worked an honest day in my life, God knows. So we're scrapping the whole thing?
Yeah. We're going after the logo?
I mean, the logo, I'm kind of with them. The flaming thumbtack is not the best. Like the Oilers logo is cooler. Maybe they should. Maybe you make it no more Nissan Stadium. It's the Coliseum again. But then you kind of want to keep the name Titans with Coliseum. I don't know. Nobody's happy. Everybody's pissed about something. Strip it down to the studs and send it into the sun is basically the summary of that call. All right, more of your phone calls, I guess, next. You'll hear more from Chad Brinker. Hell, we might even hear from Mike Vrabel because he's starting to get asked questions in New England about facing his former team. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Best hot chicken in the world. 615-737-1045 is the number. So we will reschedule our high school football hero for the week to tomorrow. And we appreciate Lucas coordinating on that for us. Always like highlighting or spotlighting standout high school football performances in the mid-state. But today there's more pressing topic of conversation. Mike Vrabel has spoken to New England media, obviously Titans hosting the Patriots, now division-leading Patriots. AFC East leading Patriots after the Bills fall to the Falcons last night. How many people had that on their upset board? But he is also going to be the only coach so far this season to do a team meeting or a Zoom meeting with opposing media. So Mike Vrabel will meet with Titans media tomorrow at 11:30. Should we carry that press conference? How do we feel?
Does Teresa get the first question?
There is no question. He keeps, so there's a reporter named Karen in New England who gets the first question now, but he has slipped up a couple of times and called her Teresa, which I find funny.
That will get you into trouble.
He did that once with Kayla. He called her Josina.
Oof.
Now that one's a tougher miss. Kayla Anderson, Josina Anderson. Swing and a miss, bud.
That one's called Robert Ramon.
What?
You have done that.
No, you also called.
They look the same.
Didn't you also call Slay Ramon one day?
I've done that too.
Don't we have a whole bit about that?
No, we don't.
They've also called me Will multiple times.
Oh,
yeah.
God, Buckwood.
I bet that happens to
everybody's
you often.
got.
Much to your chagrin, Ramon actually calls me Buck all the time.
That's never happened.
All the time.
Well, the likeness is uncanny.
I'm telling you. You just can't tell.
That's the one way to bother me.
Put us beside each other.
Brothers?
Do a silhouette profile. I bet you couldn't be able to tell who's who.
Spot the difference. It's the same picture.
We should do that.
Why does that fella look
Just
like
be
Santa
a
Claus?
silhouette of Lucas's ass.
You'd be able to pick it out. My refrigerator shape.
Refrigerator?
Robert's belly or
chest freezer?
I was going to say pear.
Yeah. Oh, come on. I'm done with pear. I'm done with pear. I feel like pear is taking it easy. Refrigerator is very blocky. I'm very blocky. I take up a lot of space.
Yeah, you're stout. It's muscle mass.
Okay, well, you say it. Get your most offensive thing out.
I just
say it. It's not going to hurt me. You can't hurt me.
Have sharp edges. Your edges are not sharp. That wasn't very mean.
Refrigerators don't have sharp edges.
It's mass, Robert. It's just mass. That's all that matters.
That's what our podcast would be called. The Mass and the Ass.
The mass that matters.
Also, just to bother the audience, we're going to have Diana Rossini on Thursday. So let's hear from Mike Vrabel, his media availability today. He was asked about facing his former team coming from New England to Tennessee.
This is going to be probably a lot to be said about this, and I think would fall under the category of, is it interesting or important? And I would probably say this would be very interesting, but in the end, not very important.
Is that it?
Yes.
That's great.
Well, he speaks more, but that's where the clip ends, I think. Right? You're the one that gave it to Robert.
I didn't watch the whole clip. But that's what it is. Because, again, as we mentioned, there is going to be a level of toxicity to this. Do you think he gets applause?
I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know how Vrabel will be received Sunday.
What percentage of Titans fans are rooting for him? That would be a good poll on Friday, because I do think there's some kind of self-loathing, and I wouldn't say a majority by any stretch of the imagination, because everybody, if you're a fan of the team, you want your team to win. But I do think that he's a more polarizing figure in the middle of all this, and I do think there's some self-loathing Titans fans who would look around and said, I want Mike Vrabel to beat the Titans.
Have y'all ever rooted against, I'm not going to add, Robert, have you ever rooted against your team?
Never.
Never once?
No.
I guess things have never been like that bad for you and your Ravens family.
The year that Ryan Mallett, R.I.P., Joe Flacco tore his ACL, Ryan Mallett ended up starting some games. Matt Schaub had started some games. But, I've never been I want them to, I want a better draft pick. They already suck. They're going to get a good draft pick.
Have you?
In 2017.
What was the date? December 19th.
Yeah. It was October 20th. I didn't know in 2017 what it was going to take for Butch Jones to be fired.
Yeah.
And so there were about 3 weeks there where I legitimately felt the best thing for the program was whatever it took for Butch Jones to no longer be the coach at Tennessee. And I wanted Tennessee to lose at Kentucky and at Missouri. And it took until that Missouri game, 50-17. I remember that final. Will McBride was playing quarterback, and they fired Butch Jones finally.
I rooted against Indiana last year. I wanted Mike Woodson fired. I was sick of him. I think that's the only time. And then when I went in person, like when I was there for the combine, my sister was still there. We went to a basketball game. Like, I'm obviously cheering for Indiana. They won the game. It was electric. But I wanted Mike Woodson fired, so I will cop to that. Absolutely. Robert, never once?
Maybe one. Nah, because if it was me wanting to get a coach fired, it would have me wanting to get Scotty Montgomery at ECU fired. I believe he's with the Lions now as a running back coach. He'll probably get to be someone's OC, and they'll be like, oh, look at the work he did with Jahmyr Gibbs. He's awful. He's horrendous. He's the worst coach I've ever covered, and I covered Matt Rule. Scotty Montgomery, I will never. If he ends up being a candidate here and James Prochet and Scotty Montgomery are on the same side, you would see the true vitriol that I possess.
So sometimes there are signs at the Titans games, like people make signs to hold up. Sometimes it's, hey, Jeff Simmons, I quit my job to come meet you. Sometimes it's a bag over your head with a picture of Shador on it, right, at the end of last season. Do we think there are more Vrabel was right signs or more where is Amy signs? Because where is Amy feels ripe for a sign coming off that press conference.
I don't know. I mean, you act like those are like the only two signs people will have on Sunday. I don't know what signs people will have.
I just imagine there would be a higher percentage of them this week in particular.
I'll be interested in the crowd on Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, it's still a football game. If the weather's good, the weather is decent right now. Like, it's not the worst time in the world to go to Nissan Stadium. I know I'm sure the parking logistics are not great for fans at this point in time, but it's still a football game, so there will be people there. But what percentage of the stadium is filled is going to be a question.
I mean, do you think if we're going majority of the fan base, does the majority of the Titans fan base think that Mike Vrabel should have been retained as head coach?
If you ask them today?
Right. It's very easy to say that today. The Patriots are good.
Yeah.
They're 4-2. Drake May's playing really well.
I think I would probably say it was a 55-45 split when he got fired. And I would say
it was a very polarizing thing.
It was polarizing. And it wasn't a clear-cut decision. And they look wrong. He looks right at this point in time. So it's easier I would say it's probably closer to 60-40, if not outright 70-30.
Because I've always felt it's almost never about the firing, but about the hiring that follows, right? Because there has been a lot of revisionist history on the Vrabel stuff and how it ended. And I know they were losing games and they were doing it with the decline of the roster that largely John Robinson authored. But Vrabel did have more control in that collaboration year with Rand Carthon. And a lot of the people that Vrabel leaned on, his guys, were a lot of the biggest weak spots of the roster, right? Andre Dillard, Aaron Brewer.
And the thing that's giving him the best chance of success right now was already there.
Right.
Drake May was there.
The situation is better than it was given credit for when Vrabel was hired. No doubt about it. Like Stephon Diggs looks like Stephon Diggs, even though he's post 30 and coming off an ACL, right? Keyshawn
we didn't
Boutte
know about Drake May.
Is emerging. Drake May is emerging. Will Campbell is a stud. I mean, they have their guy at left tackle.
And even if he's not, they can bump him down into the interior, and he's going to be a high-level player.
Like, we know Vrabel's a good coach. Of course Vrabel's a good coach. We know he does more with less more often than not. But what I'm curious about is 2 to 3 years from now, what does the state of that roster look like with Vrabel exerting more and more control over it? And it could all get lifted by Drake May being becoming a top 10 quarterback if that's what happens.
More of your phone calls. Not more of your phone calls coming up next because Mike Silver of The Athletic is going to join us. He had a really good piece. He spent a lot of time with Cam Ward last week. Flew to Nashville. We saw him interviewing a variety of different heads of state. One of those guys isn't here anymore. I wonder how much that interview changed between the time he wrote it last week and the time that it was published today. Mike Silver of The Athletic, next.
12 o'clock, good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Titans have fired head coach Brian Callahan, announcing it in a statement on Monday from President of Football Operations, Chad Brinker. Callahan was 4-19 in less than 2 seasons as the Titans head coach. Mike McCoy takes over as the interim. McCoy was a senior offensive assistant under Callahan. He is the former head coach of the Chargers, went 27-37 from 2013 through 2016. McCoy will meet with Titans media today at 1 p.m. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
What happens when you drop a number 1 overall draft pick into a team that's wrought with dysfunction? That is the thing that Mike Silver of The Athletic sought out in his piece dialoguing or cataloging Cam Ward's start to his career so far. Mike Silver of The Athletic will join us here in the next 4 minutes, and we will look forward to it. Did all three of us read the piece this morning?
Of course. I always read my homework.
I don't think that's true at all. Actually, I do trust you. I ironically do trust you more than either of us to do your homework. Not sure why that is.
I'd be pooping a lot. Need something to read.
That makes sense. And it's an easy read on theathletic.com. Always well worth your subscription. But the title, as I mentioned, Cam Ward got dropped into the Titans' den of dysfunction. Can he make it out? And obviously, make it out sounds like, can he get out of the organization almost? But essentially, can he be good enough to pull them out of their own dysfunction, or at least to mask it? How many quarterbacks have actively masked an organization's dysfunction? We've talked about the Houston Texans a lot.
Yep.
And looking completely lifeless, completely rudderless.
They've been the best recent example of that, of a quarterback and head coach duo being able to immediately change those fortunes for what we thought to be the most dysfunctional organization in the league.
Is Bryce Young starting to do that in Carolina? Because nobody would regard the Panthers as a well-run organization, but they have recently found success. They feel a bit more like the way that last season ended, right? That was the kind of growth that we were expecting here in Tennessee, but didn't get. Carolina appears to have at least taken steps in the right direction, even if they're not a playoff team.
That was impressive win they had against the Cowboys. Like Dallas, for all of their issues, Dak is having an incredible season. And Bryce Young, went blow for blow, and Panthers are sitting here at 500 going into week 7.
Is Caleb Williams starting to pull the Bears out of dysfunction, or is that as much about the marriage of Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams? Finally, the Bears getting it right with a quarterback and a coach who seems well-equipped for this.
Yeah, we're starting to see that come to fruition a little bit, that on-field relationship. They beat the Commanders, who I guess could be an example of this, but not really, because they made top-down changes that coincided with the drafting of Jaden Daniels.
So, I want to know, and Mike Silver will join us here momentarily. I know he's in the Zoom, and Robert will let me know when we're ready to go to Mike at this point. In fact, Mike Silver joins us now. His piece, as I mentioned, Cam Ward got dropped into the Titans' den of dysfunction. Can he make it out? Mike, I saw you here last week. It was good to see you. The situation that you set out to write versus how the story might have changed before it was published today. How much editing went into the last at least 24 hours?
It pushed up my timeline a little bit. And yeah, we talked about how to handle it, whether I should write a column and then just kind of separate the Cam Ward part of it. But ultimately, I just kind of fused it. And I was really excited by Cam Ward's energy. It was really cool getting to talk to him. I love his combination of self-belief and accountability, among other things. You kind of don't perceive him when you hear those words as a cocky kid, because he is so hard on himself and he clearly grinds. So that part is really cool. And I did get a sense, Buck, that organizationally, the people in the building did not want to go the interim route, that as bad as things have been going, that they were kind of hoping to get through this season, see where they were. A lot of regard for Brian Callahan as a person. Everyone thinks he's smart. And, interim just isn't an awesome state of affairs, all of which leads me to believe that this decision came from the very top, which I think we can all surmise. And that is kind of the larger Titans dysfunction that we all know and love.
Yeah, I mean, we're certainly well familiar with it with the local professional football team at this point. I mean, Mike, you've been around the league for not to age you, but for quite some time at this point in time. You've seen all manner of different organizations, all manner of different ownership structures and organizational structures. And to your point, they didn't want to move on from Brian Callahan during the season because it's not in the best interest of Cam Ward. Cam has talked about this with us in training camp, going back to they did 10 days on the road with Atlanta and Tampa doing joint camp there. He was asked specifically, I know you know Teron Davenport. Teron did a piece about the number of coaches who have been fired in a season or directly after the season that their franchise drafted a number 1 overall pick at quarterback. Obviously, it's happened more frequently in these last few years, but certainly plenty of times over the last 10. Just the rate of burnout that you see from quarterbacks in the NFL right now, is it as bad as it's ever been?
Because they have to play right away, and that's really starting with Matt Ryan and Joe Flacco about 18 years ago now. That's kind of become the new state of affairs. And before that, it was very rare. So because people are playing right away, you have kind of a bigger variance, and some people can get broken by it. Some people, like Jared Goff, fight through really tough circumstances as a rookie, and it hardens them. Some people, kind of never get out of it. And, Marcus Mariota, obviously, you guys have been familiar, Jake Locker, Will Levis, you've seen quarterbacks drafted high and played early, and it hasn't worked out. I think what you ideally want is an organization that has a vision, that is willing to grow with the player and build it around him. But that's obviously not what Cam Ward walked into. And so, I realize there's a long history of this that you guys know better than I do, with Mike Mularkey getting fired essentially the night before a playoff game, the way the reporting broke, and other things. But I just look at the last 34 months, and it's mind-boggling, the lack of alignment from afar. John Robinson and what seemed like an impulsive firing, and then Ran Carthon kind of getting rammed down Vrabel's throat. Vrabel getting fired, immediately Brinker then goes above Carthon, kind of with power, kind of not. Then they get rid of Rand, bring in Borgonzi, who's, I think a stellar candidate and has a chance to do a great job. But in the meantime, Rand and Amy had hired Callahan. So the cycle continues. You want alignment. And you could make a case to me on any of those firings, by the way, in a vacuum. John Robinson had those 3 horrible drafts in a row, traded A.J. Brown. Vrabel, as good as he is, was on a downward cycle, and they were losing a lot. Rand didn't get much of a chance, but I know there were people in the building who thought he wasn't, the best and the best, of the young GMs. Yeah. Callahan 4-19. So you could, in a vacuum, make that case. I just think it's the impulsiveness from the top and the lack of alignment. And you mentioned I've been doing this for a while. I used to do owner rankings at SI and Yahoo for years and years. And then I went to work for NFL Network, and shockingly, they went away. But I'm free now, so maybe those will come back as early as next spring. And right now, I think, I'm not going to say that the Titans are in danger of being 32, but she's not distinguishing herself lately.
We can't even get statements from her anymore. They're coming from Chad Brinker when they make changes. Mike Silver of The Athletic here with us on 104.5 The Zone. Cam Ward dropped into the Titans' den of dysfunction. Can he make it out? Mike's latest piece on theathletic.com. Well worth your subscription for not just his journalism, but all the great journalists doing great work there.
Mike, we were having this discussion earlier. On paper, there's so much about the Titans personnel-wise that could make this an attractive opening for a head coaching candidate, right? Whether it's a number one overall pick still on his rookie deal, the amount of flexibility that they can have with the roster, the general direction of draft, develop, retain in this rebuild. But obviously, the context of the amount of turnover you just highlighted at the top is very important there. How attractive of an opening is this in your mind, considering other openings that could potentially be out there in the coaching carousel this coming offseason?
Oh, it's the best. You saw a quote in my story from a Raider coach coming off the game that this is the worst team he's seen in the last 25 years. And by the way, this Raider coach wasn't saying the Raiders were good either. It was like, yeah, we're bad, but wow, they're bad. Look, there are only 32 jobs. People are always going to be attracted to openings. The attraction here, along with Cam Ward, is Mike Barganzi. He really is a guy that has been a big part of that Chiefs run, worked very, very well with the really good football people there, including Andy Reid and Brett Veach, highly regarded, and I think has a chance to be a star. But I think any coach is going to have pause and say, is Mike Barganzi really getting to do it his way? Now, I believe that he will get to pick the players, even though technically, given this interesting structure, Chad Brinker could overrule him. But I do believe that, Brinker and Barganzi work well together, know each other, have similar visions. I believe he will get to pick the players and work closely with the next head coach. So that's the attraction. But then you go, well, what's up with the owner? Is she going to be patient? And, you mentioned she wasn't around yesterday. That, to me, to the fan base, is gutless. Yeah, you make, or you inherited lots and lots and lots of money. And now you get to be the owner of an NFL team that probably appreciated another $1 million while we were having this conversation. It must be nice, is guaranteed a profit via revenue sharing of the TV deals, et cetera, et cetera. But, face the fan base. Yeah, you hired Chad Brinker to be your voice and as a conduit, but if you're going to fire your coach at this stage of the season, go tell that coach in person, in my opinion, and then get out there and talk to the fans. And if not, you're going to face scrutiny, more scrutiny from people in your market and people nationally like me, at least the ones who have the guts to criticize billionaires. And listen, there are all sorts of billionaires. I've been around a lot of them, there's another one from the Tennessee area, Arthur Smith. He faces the music. That guy's out there grinding, trying to, win games for the Pittsburgh Steelers, as he once did as the Titans offensive coordinator. That guy's willing to go out there and put it on the line when he's got enough money to buy my publication and your radio station, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know what Amy's hiding from, or if she just, didn't feel like traveling, but this doesn't play well to the fan base.
Arthur Smith, I'm sure a name that will pop up on a few hot boards for the Titans coming up. Mike Silver of The Athletic with us. You wrote in your article talking about Cam Ward and some of his struggles this year, that his footwork can be sloppy, his play action and other fakes in the run game lack polish and precision, and at times he's been resistant to taking layups, instead attempting more difficult throws downfield. Mike, you also write that efforts to instill proper habits were not helped by Callahan's tenuous status. What do you make of Mike McCoy as the interim head coach of the Titans, based on what you know of him, maybe the opinion of him in the building, having just spent some time around Cameron Ward, and just the potential ability to settle Cam in his rookie year and get a somewhat productive season, a developmental season out of Cameron Ward, and not continue this downhill rate that they're at?
Well, Mike McCoy is a really good coach. I think he's got the temperament to steady the ship. He obviously knows offense, was part of that great Peyton Manning run in Denver before becoming the Chargers head coach. And like many people I know who've become Chargers head coaches, I've been really excited about the hire, and then I've watched them kind of get to the playoffs or make an impact and thought, wow, the Chargers finally have their coach. And then that organization's dysfunction seems to overtake them. We'll see if Jim Harbaugh can break that trend. But, I was excited about Mike McCoy Anthony Lynn, Brandon Staley, and they all had their moments, and then they cycled through. But I do think Mike McCoy is, as interim coaches go, it's not a great state of affairs, but I think temperament-wise and knowledge-wise, he has a chance to be, about as good as it gets. Obviously, losing Bill Callahan is a blow. He's one of the great offensive line coaches of this era and a former head coach. They do have Bones Fossil on that staff, who has interim head coaching experience. And so, we'll see how they handle it. If nothing else, this has been hovering and hanging over people's heads, now obviously since late last season, I would say. And so it's happened. Nothing else on the coaching front is likely to happen, until the end of the season. And so now it's just about, can they get some rhythm? Can they get Cam Ward, rolling a little bit? Can they find some young players who, can be part of what they hope will be something that Mike Borgonzi is able to build. And, look, the other thing we need to talk about is the trade deadline, right? Yeah. I think a few days ago, the thought was, we could probably trade Jeffrey Simmons, who's playing amazingly, and get a lot, but is, having to go look Brian Callahan in the eye and tell him that and say, hey, buddy, we're pulling for you, but by the way, your best player, we're trading for future pick or picks. It's an easier conversation, in my opinion, to have with an interim. It's not great news for Mike McCoy, but what are you going to do? You're already the interim. So I'm not saying Simmons gets traded. I just think teams will call, and, you got to listen. Certainly, anyone else on that roster other than Cam Ward, you would think they would listen on. You couldn't get as much, but I would be surprised if they're not pretty receptive to those conversations.
Yeah, no, Jeff, Minnesota came sniffing around last year when Jeff was dealing with that elbow injury to see if they could get him for a bargain, and obviously the Titans staved off that as well. One more for you, Mike. Mike Silver of The Athletic here with us on 104.5 The Zone. Just to go back to the idea of temperament and Cam's temperament specifically, in your interaction with him there. The line that heard round the NFL world was after they got shut out 26-0 against the Houston Texans, a game that whatever Amy Adams Strunk is, she treats that like her Super Bowl at Houston, given the rivalry between the two clubs and the two cities at this point in time, going back to KS Bud Adams. Cam Ward's line about keeping it a buck and that the Titans are ass, and going on to describe making it about himself, making it about the entire situation, that they kept saying things but not actually following through with them. You noted in your piece that he had no interest in walking it back, and I wonder what you make of a 23-year-old rookie holding an organization to a higher standard than their ownership even seems to.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't they asked, it was we asked, right? Like, they asked would be rough. We, Sean McVay always says, we, not me. I guess that applies here. Look, I like his competitiveness. I like his high standards. I like that he's frustrated. That's all a good thing. And, this is the guy that they kind of fell in love with personality-wise, too, in the pre-draft process. So, this is part of the package. I thought it was a understandable thing. By the way, if that was the Super Bowl, what's the Vrabel return? That's like, that's like the Super Bowl. And, this is, if you're Mike Vrabel, you're like, okay. And again, Mike Vrabel was on a bad run when he got fired. Stuff happens in the NFL. But if you're Mike Vrabel, you're like, all right, I rebooted. I went to Cleveland and consulted and kind of caught my breath. And now I'm doing pretty well with the Patriots so far. It's a long season. How are they doing? They fired my replacement before I showed up because they were so scared I was going to humiliate them and then force his firing, and they didn't want to apparently give me the credit. So whatever the score of that game is, Mike Vrabel already won. It could be Mike McCoy's Titans 62, Patriots 0, and Mike Vrabel still should be lighting up a victory cigar. He won. The game is over, at least that game.
Mike Silver, great pleasure to have you on the show. Always enjoyed your work, and good to be able to catch up with you for the first time. Hopefully we'll be able to do it again soon.
Thank you for having me and the leaf blowers that decided to show up right outside my home office. Perfectly timed up. I love when that happens. And by when that happens, I mean inevitably whenever I'm doing anything live. So.
Brother, people call us from semi-trucks, from factory warehouses, while they are actually cutting the grass. That was the least offensive thing that's happened even today.
It's all about production value.
That's Mike Silver with us on 104.5 The Zone. Let's talk a little bit more about Chad Brinker. He flexed his resume yesterday that when I asked him why Titans fans should trust him. You will hear the response from the Titans president of football operations coming up next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Many thanks to Mike Silver of The Athletic for joining us. Enjoyed our conversation with him. We'll have to have Mike back. So, do you trust Chad Brinker, who is your president of football operations, asking Titans fans the question, 615-737-1045. If you would like to get involved, he's been the president of football operations now for 2 seasons. Chad Brinker has, how would you describe Chad Brinker's rise within the Titans organization?
Now that's a good question. Unexpected?
Meteoric?
From assistant general manager to president of football operations in the span of 2 years?
Yes. And he's in Green Bay for 13, so it's not like this guy just came out of nowhere. But here, he seems to have climbed to a position of power where he is now speaking on behalf of ownership after formerly working for Rand Carthon, whom he did not really know.
Yeah. No, it's a big jump, big leap to go from being brought in by Rand Carthon to literally speaking for ownership.
So I ask you that question as a fan base, 615-737-1045. If you hear me rattling around with something here, I'm almost there, Robert. You took my 9th one?
We need to play. No,
you took my 9th one. No. I have 8 right now.
Oh, here, you can take this one back.
No.
We have to play the audio for this to make any sense.
I'm going to get there, but I'm just saying.
We are just, the FNM Bank chat confirming, we are just stealing a bit from Ramon from this morning, by the way.
Well, yeah, but he didn't put them on.
He bought them, which he's like, the thing is.
Oh, please act like you haven't worn something that Ramon's bought you before.
Mind your business.
These things, they don't fit on my fat fingers. These are clearly designed for children.
Yeah, we need adult ring pops, guys. Come on, get on it.
So, I am in a situation where I'm covering a team where Chad Brinker has found his way and worked his way. Listen, he was a scout for a long time. Those jobs are miserable. To be in the personnel side of things for a football team is very not glamorous. Oh, I do have 9. I just can't unwrap it because I've already got 8 of these on my fingers.
Lucas, assist him.
If you throw me a ring, I will eat it. I don't want to eat it. I'm trying to preserve my appetite.
I also can't throw them because I've got 8 of them on my hands right now, and I feel like I would throw like 6 of them at Lucas if I tried to throw one. Anyway, Chad Brinker gets hired under Rand Carthon. Here, Robert. Robert's got that one for me. Thank you very much. Got hired under Rand Carthon, somehow found his way executing trades on behalf of the Titans organization, including L'Jarius Sneed, with his friend Mike Borgonzi, who he's known for a period of time. Then all of a sudden, Rand Carthon gets boxed out. Like,
that one is misshapen.
Are you going to be able to put that on my thumb?
Use it like a claw.
What flavor is that?
What are you scared of?
I'm scared of the one that's been in your mouth touching me. Get away.
Get you a leg.
God, they look delicious.
So they are delicious. I've just opened 9 of them, so you're going to have to eat one.
I'm so hungry.
Yeah, I know. Chad Brinker gets around Rand Carthon, then gets Rand Carthon out. And there are many bad feelings. Now, Rand Carthon handled it diplomatically, but people who were also removed under Rand Carthon felt less friendly about the way that Chad Brinker rose above Rand Carthon. And I think there's some additional details that have been reported. Some are there. There's always going to be personal feelings when you get into a situation like that. But now he's speaking, and not only speaking, but giving statements on behalf of ownership as they fire coaches. He was a representation of ownership yesterday because the ownership was nowhere to be found. He has been now, Lucas, in a role here. He wasn't the president of football operations with Vrabel, but he has been in a role here for now 3 of these firings, and now he's the one. He's still here. He's the last one standing. It's him and Nihill, right? Him and Burke Nihill and Amy, obviously, were the last people standing in their respective roles after all of this has gone so wrong. So I asked him yesterday, you have my question on the front end of this, or do you want me to set it up?
You can set it up.
I just basically asked Chad Brinker, why should Titans fans trust you to get it right this time?
I've been entrusted to do this job, and that's all I can say is we're going to work to get this right. Both Mike and I come from places where we've won a lot of football games. We got a front office that I think between all of us, we got 9 Super Bowls. We've seen what winning football looks like, and we know what that looks like. So we're going to do everything we can to support the staff currently. We've our players. It's still early in the season, and there's a lot of work to be done. There's still a lot of football to play. So I think we're just as frustrated as our fans are. And like I said in the opening statement, we're going to get this right, and we're going to build a football program that everyone can be proud of. And we're acknowledging right now it hasn't been good enough, and that's why we're up here answering these questions, because we haven't been good enough, and we're committed to getting better.
So a resume flex was the response. 9 Super Bowls in the front office, 9 rings.
Can you please put your Infinity Gauntlet hand just on the microphone? Can you just hold the...
No, that looks a little phallic.
No,
I don't know how I feel about that.
I just want you to rest it on there like a pimp. Yes. Look at your
to
jewels.
Hold my microphone here. I have here the 9 rings of the Titans front office. They are cherry, watermelon, I believe blue raspberry. One of them's a bit deformed. I don't know which Super Bowl is that. Who won the Super Bowl in COVID? That was the Brady Bucks. Yeah, so that wouldn't count.
Well, you've got a lot of them are red, so those
a lot of them
are the
red.
Chiefs Super Bowls.
We have many Chiefs Super Bowls. We have
it's
one
just
green.
the one Green Bay one.
One green for the Packers. So Chad actually has the least amount of Super Bowls of anybody in the front office if we're resume flexing here. Coming from 13 years in Green Bay, and then I don't remember where Reggie McKenzie or Dave Ziegler. Oh, Ziegler Patriots. So he has a few rings to his name, too. These ring pops that Ramon Foster bought and that I, for some reason, decided to put on my hand are about as valuable to me as the 9 rings that the Titans front office currently has on its resume. Because you know what is all the same about the 9 rings, no matter where they were won? They were not won here. I don't care about your 9 rings. I don't care about your 9 Super Bowls. I don't care what L'Jarius Sneed did before he was traded to the Tennessee Titans. I don't much care about Cam Ward's collegiate accomplishments before he arrived at the Tennessee Titans. I care about what you do here. The rings, the Super Bowls, they matter to them individually. They matter to their personal stories. They matter to their careers. I don't want to devalue that. My headphones are going to fall off. I'm going to get a ring pop stuck in my hair. Trying to do a serious thing with ring pops on my fingers. All right, back off. I don't care what you did before you got here. I care what has happened since you've been here. And your resume flex is not impressive to me. It is not impressive to Titans fans. It is not impressive to the organization who you are currently trying to win for and failing miserably at. It is not impressive. And that, I think, was my biggest takeaway from that question. Like, I get you've accomplished things. You have this role because you've accomplished things. You haven't done bleep here.
Well, that whole press conference yesterday was filled with questions that...
You sure you don't want one of these? These are delightful.
I do want one. That's why you can't give me one.
You need to be saving your appetite.
Yeah.
I'm not going. I have to go to Mike McCoy's press conference.
Talking to him,
He's talking to me.
Oh, this one's strawberry.
That whole presser was filled with questions that do not have answers, do not have satisfying answers, right?
Yeah.
And that's the position that they've put themselves in. Like, the whole state of the Titans has set it up to where you hold a press conference to talk about the current state of affairs, why the coach was fired, where you go from here, and there is no single answer that will satisfy your fan base, that will have people walking away and feeling restored in their trust that you are the right leadership to lead forward this franchise. So, in a way, it's a lose-lose situation when you hold that press conference, but it's also a situation that is of the Titans' making over the last couple of years.
I feel like if I bit into one of these, it would, tear up my mouth. Also, there's no way for me to look heterosexual with nine of these rings on my fingers. There's no way for me to hold my hands in a masculine way while trying to do this.
I do wonder
this bit wasn't worth it. I just want everybody to know that.
Yeah,
this
you're just going to end up throwing them away.
I'm going to throw them all away.
Just at least give
them
to someone.
I don't know which ones I've put my mouth on, so I don't know which ones to give you because I know you'll eat them. I don't think I've touched any of them on my left hand.
I do hope that that's not a line that continues to get, brought up.
What's that?
The 9 Super Bowl rings.
Oh, I mean, how could it not, brother? Because he bowed up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You could see it. I could see it in his face when I asked him the question. Why should people trust you? I mean, it's a different version of why are you still here and everybody else is gone?
Yeah.
What do you
anything to add there, Mike?
I'm sorry. Chad, can you explain to me the value of these ring pops on my fingers?
I don't know if you want anything to add there, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know if Mike Borgonzi has anything to add there. Mike Borgonzi did not flex his rings on me because he has more. And Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Chris Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. That is where the 9 Super Bowls from the Titans front office structure come from. I'm not going to hear it from, I mean, I will, but it's wrong. I'm not interested in hearing it from a front office executive when I know that the front office is not going to place that kind of value on a coach to begin with, that you are all of a sudden more accomplished than the players that got you to that point.
I mean, almost every single general manager, head coach, president of football operations across the league, almost 100% of them, when they got their first opportunity to do that job, got it because they were around some level of success, right? Like, what percentage of all of the fired head coaches and general managers in the NFL got those jobs initially because they were a part of some level of success at their previous stop? All of them. All of them. All of them. Mike McDaniel's about to get fired. He was a part of some really good offenses in his career.
That's fine, but Brady can hold up his rings and wear them, and I know that Tom Brady
that's
did
what
that.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's not a sufficient answer. Because, yes, every coach, every GM ever that has been fired at some point got hired because of a reason, because he was part of something good, and you want to get some of that. That happens in college football. Like, how many of Nick Saban's assistants have multiple national championship rings but failed as head coaches? So that's the one hand. On the other hand, there's just no good answer here for Chad Brinkman.
No, listen, they were in a losing position from the jump.
Yeah. There's no answer that you can give to that question.
This was really humbling for me for how fat my fingers are. Also, thank you to Ramon for providing the ring pops today.
God, they're so good.
They really
I
are
forgot how good. Don't look at me like that.
He's like a coyote. He's like some kind of like vermin that's scurrying around food because he hasn't eaten today. Luke is in Clarksville.
It'll be 1094 at the window. Thank you.
What'd you order for lunch, Luke?
Oh, man, I'm at Freddy's. Sorry, got the original double and some tots, man. I'm on the run.
Hell yeah.
But listen, I didn't expect to get in so quick, but the amazing Bert made it happen because I told him I have to call and apologize to you, Buck. I called in maybe 2 months ago, and I got on to you about getting pre-mad that Amy was going to fire Callahan after the Patriots came, but she beat you even to the punch on that in a week early. So me and Lucas, I think, kind of ganged up on you a little bit and said you were getting pre-mad and sounding irrational that this was going to happen, and then lo and behold, it happens. So I'm always willing to take my comeuppance. So I'm sorry, Buck. You were right. It's a week early, but anyway, it's miserable. So we're just along for the ride. All right. Thanks, guys. See you.
Thanks for the call, Luke. You don't got to apologize to me. I was pre-mad. And it's fair for you guys to back me down when I get pre-mad about things. But, like, they have a pattern of behavior, and it bothers me. It's annoying.
Well, I think what you were pre-mad about is the idea of no matter what the Titans had shown in the weeks leading up to the Patriots game, him getting fired because he lost that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Brian Callahan.
I wasn't right.
Like, yeah, there was a point where, okay, this just isn't tenable. Brian, he's not going to be the coach of this team. You just can't look as bad as they've looked through 6 games.
Are these things going to turn my mouth red? Am I going to go to Mike McCoy's press conference looking like I got lipstick on because I'm trying to eat 9 ring pops?
So nobody's going to sit here and argue that they shouldn't have fired Brian Callahan. Like, nobody is making that argument.
Yeah.
The timing of it, it was always going to be a discussion point.
I think these rings are infinitely more valuable to Titans fans. I would recommend to all of you to go get a ring pop. All right, I'm going to go to Mike McCoy's press conference. The boys are going to handle the polls the rest of the way. Have a great rest of your afternoon. We'll wrap up the show coming up next.
In these troubling times, sometimes you need a man who can step up and handle business in inopportune times. I'm here to announce today that Lucas Panzica will step in as the interim host of the Buck Rising Show. We appreciate his dedication to 104.5 The Zone and Cumulus Media, and for him to carry forth the tradition, the rich tradition of winning at all costs of the Buck Rising Show. I cede the floor to your new host of the show, Lucas Panzica.
And I'm being late to the press conference. Does that mean we have to fire up hot boards? Interim host just means not for long.
Who will the new host of the show be?
I will say this. If there's one thing I love, I hate bad football. You guys know me. I was born in Nashville. I grew up a Titans fan. I want the Titans to succeed. I want good football. I will never believe Buck when he says he doesn't like good football. You see him walk in here, Robert. He's got that glimmer in his eye, that pep in his step. It gives him life. It gives him oxygen to be able to dunk on bad football. I want good football, but I will say I do love a good coaching search. And we've got ourselves one. So we have spent today talking about the state of things with this franchise, how we got to this point, Chad Brinker and Mike Borgonzi's press conference, and there will be football played on Sunday at Nissan Stadium against the Patriots. But we, as of October 14th, I guess October 13th, going back to yesterday, 2025, officially get to fire up a coaching hot board and talk about what's next for the Tennessee Titans as Chad Brinker and Mike Borgonzi lead this search and try to find the next coach to take care of Cam Ward, to put him in the best position to succeed. What I am fascinated at, Robert, is just how dug in the Titans will be on certain qualities of their head coaching candidate. We knew that they were going to pursue an offensive-minded head coach, right? To be honest, they pursued so many of the qualities that were the antithesis of Mike Vrabel. So what does that look like now? What is the antithesis of Brian Callahan? That would mean a defensive coach. I'd still be surprised if they went that route. One thing that I think will be different is experience, right? How do you sell after what just happened with Brian Callahan through 23 games? How do you sell bringing in another young, inexperienced play caller / offensive-minded coach?
And before we get to that, while we're on the hot board of who could be the next coach of the Titans, who could be the next host of the Buck Rising Show, I got a message from an interested party. One, C.J. Ecke.
Oh.
C.J. Ecke would like to throw his hat into the ring of hosting the Buck Rising Show. C.J., we would be happy to have you show up Saturday.
We'll vet him.
But you were talking about coaches, and I think especially with the popular names coming out, Joe Brady, which to me seems eerily similar to the position that Brian Callahan was coming out of. It was like, oh, look at all the important people he's worked with, all the great quarterbacks he's helped cultivate. Well, Joe Brady, similar situation, right? He was exceptional at LSU. They were sad to see him go to the Carolina Panthers. But while he was exceptional at LSU, who did he have? Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, the string and slew of NFL caliber wide receivers that came through there. Went to Carolina, didn't do diddly. Weren't able to elevate them at all. In fact, Boyer advocated for trading away Christian McCaffrey. Oh, your best weapon, sans Cam Newton of Carolina Panthers' entirety. And then what happens? Goes to Buffalo, gets Josh Allen. So I see why a lot of people would be able to be like, oh, I'm doing air quotes, wonderkin hire at offensive coordinator. But when you have a past that is very similar to the guy that you had previously, I think you can, I wouldn't say cross him off the board, but I think move him down a couple rungs of that hiring ladder.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that is going to be part of the discussion. It has to be. How much of a departure from Brian Callahan will the next head coach of the Tennessee Titans be? How much of a departure will the Titans take in their approach as they go on to hire the next head coach? They're the first ones out there. I don't know how much that benefits you in the middle of October in terms of getting ahead in the coaching carousel. No other coaching moves have been made as far as head coaches are concerned. But we're firing up the hot boards. We're going to start to talk about candidates. And we've also got a football game to be played at Nissan Stadium when the Titans host the Patriots. Interesting times. Before we get to the polls to close things out here, I mean, I would never like pitching to the polls on a somber note, but I do want to note that today would have been Frank Wycheck's 54th birthday. Titans legend, born October 14th, 1971, obviously tragically passed away December 2023. Titans legend, Oilers legend, Titans radio legend, 104.5 The Zone legend. So, in the madness of today and this week, let's take a brief moment to remember Frank Wycheck on what would have been his 54th birthday. Mike McCoy will be stepping up to the podium as the Titans interim head coach for the first time coming up at 1 p.m. You can hear that live on Cover 2 with Blaine and Zach. But before then, let's do some polls.
The polls brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the most trusted Ford dealer in all of the South. Who bears the most responsibility for the state of the Titans? The options were Brian Callahan, Chad Brinker, and the winner of the poll, Amy Adams Strunk, who took away a whopping 68% of the poll.
Yep. With a couple of years of directionless football, hard not to look straight from the top.
What was your reaction to the Titans press conference yesterday? We got a number of responses. Andrew in Portland just sends a screenshot of Mike Borgonzi looking extremely uncomfortable. Parker siding with that. Borgonzi looked like he'd rather be anywhere than working for the Titans organization. Chad Brinker needs to be fired.
Yeah, this whole week has felt like one big oh no.
What made you say oh no in sports this week? We didn't get to this today. We didn't, I'll have to work out something for these tickets. Sue Ann, everybody and their dog wanting Mike McCarthy as our permanent new head coach. If that happens, I'm done with the Titans. Sue Ann, not a fan of full-figured men.
What else we got?
We always put one out in the middle of the show. How badly do you want to hear Amy Adams Strunk speak? 68% say, don't care, just win.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I think that's where most Titans fans are. But with the state of things, obviously you would love to hear from ownership making decisions. You will hear from the interim head coach that will be leading the Titans the rest of the way this year. Cover 2 got you covered. Coming up next on 104.5 The Zone.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com.
Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Ross Johnston. The Titans' new interim head coach, Mike McCoy, will speak in just a few minutes. We will carry that live here on Cover 2 so you can hear the Titans' new interim speak for the first time in that position. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once in your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. We're starting a little early today, just like a minute or so early, because we're waiting Mike McCoy. We didn't know what his press conference etiquette was going to be. Is he going to be early? Is he going to be right on time, or is he going to be late? We don't know. So we wanted to make sure that we were on the air to be able to carry this in full. If you listen to the Mike Bergonzi, Chad Brinker press conference from last night, they said that, he's right up at the podium. So here we go. Hurry up. Quit putting your finger
It's been
up.
a tough 24 hours, to say the least. I think everybody here understands the opportunity that Brian gave us to come here and help him with the football team and this organization. So it's been tough. And that goes without any hesitation. That's just the way it is. But this is the business that we're in. We all understand this. I've been in it a long time. And you understand that things like this come up. It's a bad part of the business. And when I look at it, it's not just coaches, but there's families involved, there's kids involved, things like that. So it's a tough situation for everybody. But that being said, I think, I've got a job to do now. And I'm excited for that opportunity. It's an honor and privilege to be standing here in front of you guys today and leading this organization. We've got a lot of hard work ahead of us. But the one thing, I've talked to the staff already. I'm going to talk to the team tomorrow about, togetherness. We got to stick together. That's the only way to do it, is stick together. We all have a part in this, where we are today. It's not just Brian. And that's the unfortunate thing in this business that happens, and we all have a hand in it. Every player, every coach, every person in the organization, we have to hold each other accountable. So we all have to be accountable for everything we're doing on a daily basis. So that's two things, the togetherness part of it and the accountability moving forward. Those are two big things that I'm going to stress to everybody, because it's a bad feeling when you see someone that's such a good person like Brian have this happen to. But we all have to understand, hey, we're all in this together, and we all have a hand in it, okay? And with that being said, I want to kind of lead into one other thing with regards to our fan base. I understand the frustration. Our record's what it is, but I can promise you, okay, we're going to work our tails off, every day we walk in this facility as a coaching staff, as players, to go out there and do whatever we can, okay, to give us our best opportunity to win a football game. That's what it's all about. It's about winning. Okay, so we got to go out there and play with great energy, great effort, play with the swagger, complementary football. All three phases playing together. That's the big thing. We all understand where we are and that we've struggled on offense. We got to fix that. And that's the number one thing we got to do right now moving forward is we got to fix it and clean up some things on offense. And but it's complementary football, and that's sticking together as a football team. But when you play complementary football and you help each other out, good things are going to happen. So to the fans, hey, we're going to go out there, we're going to fight our tails off and get rolling.
Why do you think the offense has had such troubles, and what's the first step in trying to change it?
Well, there's a number of different things. It's every game, it's been something different. You look at that, and that's like you put a game plan together, and the things that work, things that don't work, we got to execute better. That's everybody. That's all 11 guys on offense of going out there and doing their jobs better. It's not any one person. It's everybody's in it together. If we all just eliminate a couple mistakes here and there in a game at different times, and we all play better, we'll have better results.
Michael said yesterday that you might want to implement some changes, work with Cam a little bit for some change. Can you maybe give us a kind of a broad idea of what you might like to see there?
Well, I think, we've got to, I'm a big believer as we go moving forward, you always got to think players and not plays. And I think we guys got to, you look at this, we got to decide, okay, moving forward, and it's early in the week still. So each week you look at what a defensive scheme, what they're going to run, what do our players do best. So, we got to sit down and like we've done the last, couple hours this morning, getting into the game planning against a good New England team, is what does Cam do best? And what do we do best as an offense? And that's going to be every week. So that's the big thing when we go in there. We got to look at our scheme. What are we doing? And it's going to change from week to week on what we do best.
What allows quarterbacks to grow?
What
allows quarterbacks to grow, in your opinion, and just what are you planning on doing maybe differently or additionally?
Experience. There's nothing like experience. And, I've been doing this a long time. And when you get into a new system, whether you're a veteran or you're a rookie, especially a rookie at any position, it takes time to get used to the game. And I know you've had a ton of success in college, regardless of what position you're playing. Then you get to the NFL and everybody's good. And the talent level, any Sunday, you go out there and win any football game on Sunday. You see how the league's already happened, what's going on, through 6 weeks so far. People call them upsets, this and that, but it's if you don't play your best, you're going to get beat. Or if you go out there and play your best game, you're putting yourself in a position. And then it comes down to, situational football. Are you executing at the critical times of the game? Are you making that kick at the end of the game to win it? All those little things. So there's so many different things that go into it, but there's a developmental phase and there's a growth of players we're always going to look at, regardless of what our record is, we're trying to play better the next week. That's the number one focus. Regardless of what your record is, you're trying to improve. Even in games late, I was very fortunate to work with Dan Henning. And, I was kind of raised by Dan Henning and Richard Williamson in Carolina days a long, long time ago when I wasn't gray, and they always talked about with the team that, listen, you're always playing for the next week or the next series, regardless of what the score is. If you're ahead, okay, now you're getting in a 4-minute situation. You're doing certain things to always get better. Regardless what the situation is. So we're going to look for, how do we get better every week? That's critical.
How do you keep a coaching staff that's now kind of in limbo at the end of the season and players who may not know what their role is beyond this year? How do you keep them dialed in and focused and bought in?
That's easy. This is the NFL. We all have a job to do. We got the greatest job. I mean, I absolutely love coming to work every day. I think the character of our football team, the type of players we have, getting to know, seeing what Jeff does every day. There's a reason why he goes out and dominates every game. The way you see him at the end of games on the sideline with the offense as they're coming off, regardless of what the score is. The players that we have, and that's just one guy that I'm mentioning. There's a lot of guys, the veteran players we have here, they know what it means to play this game every day. So you can't take anything. Every game's a gem. You go out there and you never know in this business when it's going to be your last snap. You don't know that. There's injuries that happen. There's things that come up. So that's, we have the wrong people in this building if they don't approach every day, with the right way.
Was made, how did you go about communicating with the rest of the staff, and what is the status of the remaining coaches?
Well, there's, as you all know, we have parted ways with Bill Callahan, and I'll leave it at that. But the rest of the staff is staying the same. And so in the afternoon, after they talked to me about this opportunity that I'm honored to have, I got the guys together. We had a quick little meeting, and I've met with guys, last night, obviously, and today, kind of about what direction we're heading and the changes we're going to make and how we're going to do things moving forward.
So is Bo Hardegree still calling the plays, or?
Yes, he is.
Okay. Is Scott the offensive line coach?
I've got 2 great offensive line coaches that are going to work together. The great thing about the 2 of them is that, they've learned from one of the best to ever do it. I mean, Bill was a phenomenal football coach, a better person. My office is right next to the offensive line room, so I heard all those meetings and everything all the time when I was in my office, and I've got all the confidence in the world in those two guys of leading that room together. I'm big into everyone doing this thing together with Luke and Randy, more in the run game with those guys. And we all did it together in the past, but just, I want everyone to kind of be in it together. That's the one big thing.
What was it like when they approached you about this? Sorry. What was it like when they approached you about this? And did you ever think that this could have been a possibility when you took this job?
I never thought of this when I took the job. Back when I first talked to Brian, last off season, this was the last thing I thought I'd be doing.
How much, Mike, I guess you're, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, just to follow. What was it like yesterday when they approached you about this, and kind of give us an idea of how that went down?
Well, unfortunately, when you hear the news, like I talked about, how it's been a hard 24 hours, up until I'm talking to you guys right now, there's always that first initial reaction. And listen, I've been there before. I've been doing this a long time. I've seen a lot in the business. So I feel for Brian. But I also know once I talk to Mike and Chad, the opportunity I had, that I've got a job to do now.
How much,
And
Mike?
so, we had a great conversation. I've had a great conversation with the two of them once they kind of talked to me about certain things. And I'm excited for the opportunity.
How much, Mike, I guess your past experience as a head coach helped you step into this job and kind of knowing how to handle things and maybe lessons you learned then?
It's invaluable because nobody knows until you're in this role. You think you're ready, you got no clue. There's so many things that come up on a daily basis that you have to deal with. And, I was young back in 2013 when I first got the job in San Diego, and the things that come across my desk, I've got to answer this? What are you talking about? I mean, isn't that his job to do that? You're the head coach. So there's just so many things, whether it's the practice schedules, it's game days, it's the off season, it's travel. There's so many things you have to do. And then with the roster, players, families, game day, there's so many things that come up, but that's, my 4 years working with a great organization and the way we work together and the way the Spanos family treated me, Tom Telesco and stuff, I've learned so much from them, and it's going to really help me in my situation now.
In Jacksonville and working with, I said, what about your time in Jacksonville and working with Trevor Lawrence? How do you think that might apply to working with Cam here and how that might help?
Well, I think if you go back to our first season in Jacksonville in 22, we didn't necessarily light it up early in the season. Trevor he was learning the system, and there's certain things you put a new play in possibly, and all of a sudden you put it in for a game plan, and then it's a completely different look, and he may not play as fast, and then all of a sudden we get back from London, whatever week that was in the season, and we go on a run, and the rest is history with what we did by winning the first playoff game and then obviously losing the divisional round. But it takes time. But that's what you're looking. That's what I kept on telling Trevor. I'm going to tell Cam. I talked to Cam yesterday. It's going to be the same thing. It's every week you're getting better. And you asked earlier about, you just got to learn as time goes. You're going to at one point, at some time during the year, it's going to slow down for him. But right now, it's going really fast.
Cam's tendency to drift, this proclivity to throw while he's falling backwards. How much of that can you fix week to week and drill that he doesn't fall back into habit?
Well, I think that's one thing we have to clean up. And there'll be certain things, and we talked last night a little bit, a couple things, and then on a weekly basis, we're going to be brutally honest with the players. Like I told you, we're going to hold them all accountable. So there's certain things that you're always going to, in individual period, you're going to clean up all those things. And there's going to be certain things that are going to change from position. I know you're asking about Cam, but that's with the entire football team. When something comes up and you see kind of what happened the other day in the game where there was some drifting and then the ball security in the pocket, things like that, we got to clean up. And that's our job as coaches, and that's the challenge every week, what you're doing with players. And that's what we love to do.
You've had a lot of success with different quarterbacks, from Trevor back to Jake Delhomme.
There's two other good ones in between, too.
Yeah, exactly. Is there a common thread, because they're very different, is there a common thread of what makes a quarterback at this level good, and what do you stress to Cam about getting him to that place?
Well, if you go back to, I've had a lot of great ones from the first day when I was 28 years old and young. I had Steve Berline, and then we went from there, and then I ended up having Jake Delhomme. We went to Super Bowl with Jake Delhomme, and because of that, I ended up going to Denver, and I worked with Tim Tebow. We went on that run back in the days with Tim, and then Peyton Manning, not a bad guy, Phillip Rivers. So I've coached some of the best in the business, and I think they all have and there's many other guys, some backups and other roles that they had, and guys that, Trevor Siemian, it's great to work with him in Denver. He had a lot of success there. Unfortunately, we didn't win enough at in 17, but it's I've had a great group, and I think they all have a burning desire to be great, and they're all different. And I think all those guys were also, not only did they have a burning desire to win, but they were great leaders in their own way. There's a number of different ways to lead, and number one, it's going out there, and moving the ball up and down the field and having success in the field. And then you get to a point, a lot of those guys, they don't have to say much, but when their tone of their voice changes, that, hey, we better pick it up.
You talked about your relationship with Brian. As he reached out and told you, hey, good luck with this. I know it's in a kind of an awkward situation, but you heard from him?
I talked to Brian yesterday. Well, he was still here. I went and talked to him. We're close, and I can't thank him enough for the opportunity he gave me to be here. So we had a great conversation.
How well do you think?
It wasn't easy, but it was a good conversation.
How well do you think Cam has handled the constant fine-tuning of the integration of him as a player with what you guys are trying to accomplish schematically, and how do you guys think you've handled as a coaching staff trying to figure out what he does best?
Well, that's going to be our number one focus is, how do we get Cam to be more efficient, and have more success. But it's not just him. There's 10 other guys in the field with him that have got to do their jobs better too. So we all have to do our jobs better, coaching, playing, everybody. But I think there's the good and the bad. And as a young player, as a rookie, there's going to be some bumps in the road. It's going to happen. It doesn't matter what position you're going to play in this league, especially quarterback's the hardest position to play. So, there's some really good things, and then there's some things that you want to say, what are we doing? But the number one focus has got to be, okay, how do we minimize the mistakes and get more of the good? More production, but that's all 11 on offense working together and being more efficient.
Will you pretty much leave the defense and special teams alone, or will you be involved in those matters now that you're the interim head coach?
Well, as a head coach, you are involved in everything, but I've got all the confidence in the world in our coaching staff that they're going to do a great job. And, we had a great meeting last night when the dust settled on everything. We had some time to kind of sit down as a group, and we met and briefly talked about what we're going to do moving forward. And then we had some more conversations this morning with everybody at different times. I'm going to go and talk to everybody. So it's been good.
Earlier this year, you had one of your opponents, they said that you guys looked flat pregame, and then Sunday, Jeffrey Simmons said, hey, we had a worse week of practice and we were flat on Thursday. What can you do about that? And what are your thoughts on those comments?
Well, your opponents can say what they want to say. I don't agree with it, to be honest with you. I think if you look at how we've practiced, our players work their tails off. They work extremely hard every day. Okay, and the situation last week were the first couple plays of the period, not what we want to know. But I love the fact that at practice, somebody stood up and said, start it over. This is not good enough. We got to fix this. This is not acceptable. And there's a certain standard you have to have. And that's, like I mentioned Jeff earlier, I love that. That he, it's like I talked about, that's the accountability factor. If he wants to win so bad, You know, he's a great example to look at from any player on this football team and say, if we all work as hard on a daily basis and go out there and play the way he is playing on Sundays, great things are going to happen for this organization. So I understand the frustration, but so.
Last night, Chad and Mike sat up there and just talked about we got 11 games left and they want to see growth and improvement. Yep. So I guess our question to you is why do you believe that you are the right person to yield those results leading this team?
Well, I think my track record speaks for itself. When I say that, the experience I've had since 2000 in every role, and worked with a number of different players, different positions, and you see the success the players have had, and it's like any other. If you go back to any season, there's the ups and the downs of any season, and when you look at where we're heading, that's what, like I talked about earlier, we're going to look to get better every week. You know, how do we grow as a football team? How do we get better every week? How do we play complementary football week in and week out? And listen, it's tough to win in this business. You got to go out there and play your best. And there's certain weeks where certain phases of the 3 phases you have, someone's got to carry it. There might have to be a big return in the kicking game, a block kick, whatever it is, stop, a 2-minute stop or a 2-minute score or a field goal to win it, a 4-minute situation. There's so many things that come into it. But I think with all the experience I have and what I've done is I can help everybody, you know, through the situational things moving forward and do all those things.
To build off of that, it's been almost a decade since you've been in this position to lead a franchise.
Yep.
I know you're focused on a game plan and a game this week.
Yep.
But did you think you'd have an opportunity like this again? And how much do you embrace the opportunity to prove the type of head coach you are in this league?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, when I first came here, I never thought that this was going to happen here. Would it be a goal of mine to say one day again I'd be a head coach? Sure, that's what everyone wants. You know, I'm a leader. I love to lead. I love to work with the players, work with the coaches, work with the entire organization. You know, we got great people here in the organization. I mean, there's so many good people. I'm not talking the coaching staff and the players. I'm talking the entire organization as a whole. Just how like I said, I love coming to work every day. It doesn't matter who it's with, you know, what department it's with. We got great people here, and that's what I love, being a part of that and being able to lead everybody. And it's an honor and it's a privilege to be standing here in front of you guys today saying that I'm going to lead this organization.
Last one, John. Speaking of your timeline, Mike, I know there was about 3 or 4 years where you were out of coaching there for a while. I wonder what kind of perspective that you might have gained during that, I guess, time off, and was there ever a time where you weren't sure whether you'd be getting back into coaching at all?
Well, I mentioned to you earlier about how families are involved. And in this profession, we spend a lot of time away from our families. And so that gave me an opportunity to spend time with my daughter, Liv, and my son, Luke, my wife. So I loved it because, and you can see why I got emotional, is because from 2000 to 2018, I wasn't around a lot. And so it gave me an opportunity. My daughter was in the University of Arizona, so I got to spend a lot of time. The Parents' Weekend. I got the greatest wife in the world. And so, I mean, I loved it. I hate saying it. And I missed the game. I really did miss the game. And I talked a couple times to people about joining it, joining their staffs. And for one reason or another, it didn't work out. But I wouldn't trade it for anything because I got to spend a couple years with 3 of the, that's what I live for. So.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That was interim head coach Mike McCoy. Coming up next, our reactions to that and the pressers from Mike Bergonzi and Chad Brinker last night. This is Cover 2, Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.